Race in 10 minutes time, Elise, a rating special. Segments, Burning Sands and Tani Girl, 4, 3, 1 and 2. For race 1, for the 2-year-old fillies, what we used to know as the Magic Night Stakes, the Rosemount Estate Stakes for the fillies, Group 2.
Magic Night Stakes, and the Magic Night last year was taken out by Shamika, beat Bella Corona and Soak Up the Sun. Since
field, nice run first up by the very well-bred Monsoon Wedding over on the fence.
Sweet Ransom, a length away, third segment, followed by Monsoon Wedding. Tani Girl is back to fifth, and then Luna Spur, followed by Illusional, Hard written by Zard. Then Zima Springs, Burning Sands, and then Vows de Fleur. And Like Chocolate is Absolute, straightening up, and Darley's A put 2.5 lengths now. On the segment, Sweet Ransom, Monsoon Wedding under the whip, and then Tani Girl. But Arley's A for Darren Beedman, full of running at the 200. She's about 4 or 5 clear and in no danger of the defeat at this point. On the outside, Tani Girl, on the inside, Monsoon Wedding, then segments. But Arley's A low tiring, a mile too good, and Arley's A has beaten Tani Girl. Third, Monsoon Wedding. The 3 segments handled by Stephen King. The winner, a beautifully bred filly by Rory's Jester from La Baraka. Gee.
And she'd have to be a live Golden Slipper chance on that very easy win today, Elise. She was $17 in the Golden Slipper market prior to that first race at Rosehill. The slipper fixed.
Yeah, Elise's turned in a sensational Golden Slipper trial in the opening race. She broke Bint Masquet's race record in this particular race, and the very next Saturday after Bint Masquet ran this time, she came out and won the Golden Slipper. And I think Elise's was at least as impressive as Bint Masquet. And watching that race, if she'd have come up with an alley, I'd have backed her to beat a Lingy next Saturday. I thought the run was absolutely sensational. She could settle on a fast speed, accelerate off it, and if she'd have come up with an alley, a Lingy might have been giving her 5 or 6 lengths, and I just don't know whether she could have. Like, she only just filly the wager. Unfortunately, she hemorrhaged. It's an internal hemorrhage and bled from both nostrils. And in Australia, that automatically gives you a 3-month ban. If you bleed a second time, it's all in the interests of safety.
Is it archaic? Is that rule archaic, do you think, or? I mean, I suppose you're going to get different arguments, aren't you?
Rory's Jester out of La Baraka, Alize probably would have been right up to its ears had it started in the slipper and not bled yesterday. Tani Girl second, Monsoon Wedding third.
Yeah, look, you know, I expressed my disappointment about the winning margin. I just, especially with the we had a brilliant win by the Tony McAvoy filly, Elise. And I suffered a bleeding attack, but the thing that I was concerned about with, you know, 7 days before a slipper, you've got a horse that dashes 4 lengths in front and then is flogged to the line with a whip. I've got absolutely no idea what Darren was doing there. I mean, he would have left something in the basket if it had have, you know, not bled. No, I was just bemused by that. I couldn't work that one out.
All right.
Hey, guys, what did you think of the performance of Tani Girl, given that it raced up there early? Did it just lose concentration, possibly needs blinkers?
I reckon that's exactly what it did. It got a little bit lost. She was sort of skating a little bit. She really didn't know where she was, but yeah, I think maybe the shades would help her for sure, but I don't. She'd have to improve dramatically.
Look, I like her. I like the way she applied herself from here on in the race. For an inexperienced filly, having only her second start, having to travel from Melbourne to Sydney, she's definitely a filly of the future. As far as the slipper goes, one thing, Lingy will miss her in the slipper because that was the speed.
Yes.
She was a better chance with her in the race than without.
I tend to agree.
4, 2 and 5. And here's the market for the Pago or Pango if you prefer. Fastnet Rock $1.90 New South Wales. Rock, who ran second to Dance Hero in the Skyline Stakes. He's all the rage here at $1.80.
Side Fastnet Rock, a length and a half into Outback Prince Genius and Eva Lieta. 2 then come in Spanner, Dabkey Dancer, Gator, Rule of Engagement. Savabil's gone up nearer to the rail. And last is Sir Ernesto, straightening up now. And coming to the 300 and the Pago, Asa for the leader, but Fastnet Rock is gathering it in. St. Pirion between them. High Priority rang a good race, then Genius and Evil. But Fastnet Rock has drawn clear, 150 to go. On the outside, Genius and Evil is rattling home. Genius and Evil right over Fastnet Rock, and Genius and Evil has beaten Fastnet Rock, High Priority, and then a photo between coming.
For Damien Oliver, nice win, but I don't think we saw the Golden Slipper winner in the Pago again this year. I don't think Damien will be jumping off a Lingy to go with Genius and Evil in the...
By marauding out of Beauty Bell, that was a good win. Steve Engelbreth, the trainer. Damien Oliver aboard. Fastnet Rock and High Priority was third.
Nice little horse, hits the line well, should have bolted in at Kembla last start. See Damien getting plenty of practice in the left hand here. He hasn't improved much, but look, he's a good little horse, this. He's a real trier. He's been a little bit inexperienced, but he's putting things together at the moment. Fastnet Rock, disappointing. May have had enough this prep. Don't give up on him, though. He's a very good horse.
He seemed to get a little bit lost when he got to the front.
He's a big baby. He's still a big baby.
Drip blinkers, he floated when he got to the front. I think you'll see him here. When he gets to the front, which he is now, he starts to float outwards and he gets like a drunken sailor.
Actually,
maybe
guys,
a set of blinkers will fix him.
That's the thing I was just going to say. He just appeared to wander over the concluding stages, and I still think he might get there to the slipper. The winner, apparently 99% sure, is going to miss the slipper and go to the Sires Group 1.
Won't that please Damien Oliver? I'm sure he was recommending that after the race.
Okay. What about Zeverbeal? I mean, it was well beaten, but after blowing the start so badly, he just whacked away. It gets home all right.
It's a 3-year-old. Yeah. It's going to make it 3.
Okay, and the newcomer High Priority battled on well too there. Let's have a look at... What's your thoughts, Ron?
Oh, look, it's a one-horse race.
Yep.
It's a one-horse race. She's outstanding, a lingy, barring traffic problems, she wins. Best long shot is she's in demand. Look, she's genuine. She'll put herself on the speed. And
Dominic's gone for a lingy, and Crimson Rain has his best roughie. Richard?
Yeah, look, I'll stick with the lingy because I'm biased, you know. I'm in love with the filly, but I think that the track conditions will, you know, as long as they're the same as they were yesterday, we may get rain during the week and they may be totally different, and the barrier draw will play its part as well. And I just think Ballyblur ran home pretty well last time, gets the 3.
The Rosehill Guineas in 15 minutes. Niello is the favourite, the Canterbury Guineas winner, ahead of Elbstrome, and Ufficy reports very good support for Elbstrome at Rosehill, number 2. We'll take a break and be back with more on Corstons. They are calling them in for the Rosehill Guineas. Rod Fuller will join you after this race with the remainder of our Saturday of racing.
Where the jockeys go as they swing for home.
A length and 3/4 to Lord of the Land, followed by Elstrom, a length and a half Chosen Light after 3/4 the outside. Under the bridge, a length and a half further back is Niello, at his quarters the outside Grand Zulu, and nearly 2 lengths to Penitentiary. Still no change in the order as they work their way down the side and link up with the 650 into Sumai. In front from the start, 3/4 Mount Street. On the rails, third is Lord of the Land, followed by Elstrom, about to make his run. Penitentiary slipping through nearer to the rails, followed by Under the Bridge, Chosen Light, Niello, and about 3 lengths to Grand Zulu. They straighten up and Penitentiary hits the front. To Sumai second, Niello's coming right along the inside, followed by Mount Street dropping off, and then Elstrom on the extreme outside, but Niello hits the front past the 200, and this classy colt put 2 lengths on Elstrom. Grand Zulu late along the rails, but it's Niello in front. Grand Zulu chasing him, but Niello will hang on and win the Rosehill Guineas. Niello has beaten Grand Zulu and Elstrom. Then Lord of the Land to...
It takes career stake earnings well over the $900,000 mark. Octagonal, Shadia, the 3-year-old bay colt, John Hawkes and Darren Beedman combining. So
Octagonal out of Sade, Darren Beedman at $2.80, Grand Zulu is $16, Elstrom third. Darren Beedman elected to go for the inside. That's probably what won it today. And when you
about that, and well, Niello. I'll say nothing more about Niello until next year. What? That's it. Nothing more until next year.
You're there. 1 minute he's up there, the next minute he's down.
No. Next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
This is 2004. We've
Well,
still got
actually not even next year.
8 months to go.
After August 1st this year,
say what you really think, Rick.
I will be vindicated.
Will you? Okay, let's for the inside. That's probably what won it today, and when you analyse the race.
Look, the track was off again yesterday. There's no doubt about it. You had to be 4 or 5 off the fence, but by this stage, some jockeys were overdoing it, and Beedman come through on the right part of the track, angled out to this perfect spot, about 6 off the fence there. That got him the money. Look, he's a top colt. He's a top colt, and he's continued to improve, and he's a deserved Derby favourite. But look out. This second horse is an absolute beauty. Should have won. Michael?
Oh, he should have won for sure. He was a neck behind the winner at the Sol, maybe a half length behind the winner at the 600. They straightened up and he got past the 300. He was the guts of 4 lengths behind him. He got caught behind tired runners. He finished up going back inside, ran on, got beat a neck to a half length. I should have won easily.
Pilot error. Complete pilot error there. I'm a big supporter of Rodney Quinn, but if he'd have steered a better course on Grand Zulu, it had won by 2 lengths. and the yellow would have run a nice second.
Was he following under the bridge?
He didn't know where he was at the top of the straight. He was half looking to go out.
In his defence, I feel he was trying to get to the outside, which I'd suggest would have been the right thing to do. Under the bridge, he thought was going to sort of chime into the race, but he went nowhere.
Hang on, he could have got to the outside at the 550 easily.
Of course he could.
You want to get there at the 550? What do you want to get there at the 550 for?
The jockeys, by and large, from race 3 on, were getting off the rail 800 from home. They're riding for this perceived bias. They overdo it all the time.
But how wide would he have been if
he was right next to the yellow. He just had to follow him through. While the yellow's taking the shortcut, he's looking at rear ends of other horses in a traffic jam trying to get to the outside.
Guys,
No, it wasn't one of his better rides.
Guys, I think you have to take into consideration, look, I take on board everything you're saying, but the simple fact, it was the right place to go around him, but I concede where everyone's coming from. Look, he was going to cover too much ground. I think Rod realised he was going to cover too much ground and then opted, after getting held up, come back to the inside. I think you've got to be a little forgiving under these conditions. It's hard enough going out there riding at that level, let alone having to cope with a track that is racing a little indifferently.
I reckon he's a great jock. I reckon he's a great jock, right? I think he's a great horseman as well. But if I was the connections of that horse, I'd have been waiting for him in the mounting yard with a hammer.
But Richard, it's fair to say that Under the Bridge was at least going to go forward and take him into the race.
Exactly.
Like, it's run last. Give it a break.
One thing...
Yeah, Martin Sweeney out of Cunnamulla. Happy birthday, Martin.
Good on you, Les.
Thanks, Steve.
And a happy birthday to you too. The 8th event from Rosehill, the Ajax over the 1,500 metres, and 2 True Glow at $3.20. This man should the 5 at $7.60, 1 Gordo at $8.90, 6 Corral Boy at $12, 9 Kablamo at $5.20, 11 So Assertive.
Jimmy Cassidy reported strange conflict, raced like a tired horse. So Red Trinket goes in, and
Pain was knocking on the door, and it finally opened yesterday when it saluted. Kablamo was sent out the favourite, heavily backed.
Further back is Boreal, True Glow, followed by Gordo starting to rattle down the outside, and Kablamo's next. True Glow starting to warm up. He's coming after So Assertive, Biagio, and Gordo out under the arches. Gordo's hit the front. True Glow going with him. True Glow will win it. True Glow has beaten Gordo, photo third. So Assertive, this man should have...
111 as they approach the start for the last at Morfettville.
I thought for a moment there, Ron, that Gordo out wide was going to nail him.
Threw it away, Gordo. Threw it away, loomed up and just went to run off the track, as you'll see here. This was the ride of the day by Oliver on True Glow. Very patient. He knew the jockeys were overdoing it at this stage. Jockey, the whip in the right hand, the whip in the right, and the real deal, Oliver, look at him here, so balanced and drives the horse through the middle, straight as a gun barrel. The other horse wanting to get off the track. Yeah, got a chance in the Doncaster, this horse?
Gordo might have a bit of trouble getting into the Doncaster. He's 31st in order of entry. Forum Floozy's a bit dodgy. This man should. He's dodgy, and I don't think Goldwells has got any hope of getting a run.
That'll fall away. I can count 15 there that won't run already.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Cornella for the sire, brief truce.
Where's True Glow on the order of entry?
He's in the field.
Okay.
Still got that bee in your bonnet?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Your turn is coming up shortly. We're going to have a break. We're going to look at some racing from...
Commander, Bunsen Honeydew. Now, there's 2 in the club's colours here. Bunsen Honeydew and Copian. Bunsen Honeydew. Now, they're both in...
Afternoon. It's worth $140,000. And it is a Group 2, and 12 months ago, Natural Blitz, Karen McAvoy beat Platinum Scissors and So Assertive.
Right, Bruce, they're just about set to go. Starcraft heavily back favourite, as Pat said. Magnificent colt. Racing, Starcraft was one of the first to get going, and near the inside Braylock was fast away, and Oxano showing good speed, and so is Delzeo. Starcraft is now drifting back. He's back to 4th last on the outside. Braylock, Delzeo's one off the rails, about 8 lengths off the leader. Starcraft is about 3 behind Delzeo. Moving up on the outside is Rajasthan. Over on the rails there is Kindak, followed by Strafe. Starting to go forward is Penitentiary. Starcraft Starcraft has been shuffled well back through the field. He's back to near last now, in company there with Dancing Draggers as they come up towards the home turn. They've got 450 metres left to go. A Need is the leader. A Need in front of Sadler's Song. Braylock and Oxano to the outside. Point of Honour starting a run. Delzayo's working into the clear. And here comes Starcraft. Starcraft is right down the outside. And in a couple of big bounds, he's raced up to them to go to the lead from Point of Honour. He hasn't really gone for him as yet. And Starcraft is starting to draw away. He's a giant of a horse. He's an equine Schwarzenegger. And he's racing to the line to win brilliantly. Starcraft first, Strafe second, third over the line Delzayo. Fourth in then was Braylock, followed in by Oxano. The next one in Point of Honour, Running Rich, Sadler's Song. Further back in the field came Kind Act in company there with Rajasthan, and Need, Penitentiary, Dancing Daggers, and Kingside. The last one over the line is a star, that was. Jesus, star.
Here, Wayne. Arrogance almost. I mean, what a win, what a horse. I mean, there's a bit of Farlap. No, I'm not suggesting he's Farlap, but there's a bit of Farlap about him today. I mean, he was in an impossible position. The acceleration before the turn, how wide he went, and then Bossy switches off here, puts the brakes on. Is he the Derby favourite? The yellow's at home, and Special Harmony's about to come. Delzayo, good run, by the way, as well.
Around the corner, Starcraft is sprinting up very quickly, and as they come to the 300, Sadler's Song got to a Need. Starcraft is joining in. He's running about a good deal. Point of Honour going with the favourite. They reach the distance, and Starcraft quickly asserted his superiority, and Starcraft a length and a half. Point of Honour followed by Strafe and Delzayo, but it's Starcraft. He's all over the track, but he's too good for them, and Starcraft wins it from either the fast finishing Strafe or Delzayo. And the sectional run was 35.53 in the official tote dividends, and the winner, Starcraft, Glenn Boss.
All right, 1, 6, 2 and 10. The first four, $563.30. Glenn Boss really eased up on him in the last little bit. Starcraft, a great return after 4 weeks off. He's won the 2,000 metre Tulloch Stakes. Well done to Gary Newell.
Sadler's Song, Penitentiary, Dancing Daggers, Rajasthan.
Well, there it is, Starcraft, the favourite. Gary Newham, the trainer, has done a wonderful job. Glenn Boss aboard over Strafe, Delzayo. Starcraft having his first run for a month. Reported to have had a setback and still did it yesterday.
I'll tell you why this horse is a very, very good racehorse, because at about the 600 metre mark, when he was at the back of the field, he was a long way out of the race, and I was standing with some very learned judges who said this horse will have a job ahead of him from here, and he made ground under a hold. He made ground under a hold to get up outside the leaders, and I think that's a sign of a very good horse. Let's talk to Glenn Boss, who rode him yesterday. Glenn, I was hugely impressed with what he did, particularly between the 600 and the 400.
Good morning, Richie. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, no, Richard, it was very impressive. You know, at the half mile, I was thinking, you know, I've obviously given this horse a pretty easy time during the race, and there was a couple of slow horses in front of me, and a couple of them weren't going much good. And I was thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Do I sit here and probably look unlucky in the run, or I've got to pop him out? And when he got clean air, he just virtually took off from underneath me, and I was actually trying to restrain him, get him before the bend, because I was getting there too soon. You know, I was very conscious that he had a month between runs, and there was nothing I could do about it. He was on his way, so it wasn't a pretty ride, I'll give you that, but, you know, he's a very good horse. Lucky he's a good horse.
Yeah, look, Glenn, it was an arrogant win, really. You know, is this horse still learning how to race? He seems to be floating on air at the time being.
Ronnie, he's a big kid, you know. Like when I straighten up, his head goes one way, and he did it in the Chippy Norton. He virtually waits for your commandment, you know. He doesn't quite know where he should put himself, but you know, I honestly believe he's one of as good a three-year-old as I've ever ridden, and you know, he's got a great physique, he's got a great attitude, and he's still learning about his trade. So, you know, like, that's a pretty good field, that, and Delzayo, and they're good horses, and the form around him is just keeps stacking up. You know, reset, you go back there, and you know. So hopefully, heading on towards the Derby, with that natural improvement, he might be one of the good chances. He made yesterday, because, you know, he's got that ability, like you said earlier, he's got that ability to make up ground very quickly on the bit. You guarantee I won't ride him that bad in the Derby, I'll give you the tip.
Okay. Good on you, Bossy. Well, thanks again for taking...
Okay. Righto. The doctor can have a look at him, eh? Make a decision. Okay. All right. Thanks, John.
Drella on the 4 Group 1s today. The Arrowfield Stud, the BMW, the George Rider and the Golden Slipper. So I'd imagine that would have to be some sort of first. The Group 1 Quadrella at Rosehill today. First leg's about to kick off. Correct weight at Doomben.
Special Harmony began nicely up the inside alley and going forward Boulevard of Dreams. Ike's Dream nice and handy to them in the early part. Niagara Falls is going out of the pack and going to the lead, and there goes Here's Veronica. On to the next bend, 800 metres to go. Niagara Falls 1.5 in front of Here's Veronica. She's hard ridden, 6 lengths away third was Shamika, followed by Polar Success. Oliver hasn't moved on Special Harmony as yet. She's just improving on the inside of Polar Success. She's starting to go forward now. Then La Nikita Boulevard Dreams. Well back is Timberina. And then Barberton and Generosa. Niagara Falls well clear as they straighten up. She's well clear. She's 4 lengths in front of Shamika. Special Harmony. Oliver's got his foot flat to the floor now. And here she comes. She's coming after them. Niagara Falls in front of Shamika. Coming at a hard Special Harmony. They looked as though they bumped there. Shamika and Special Harmony. Ike's Dream late on the outside. The champ hit the front. And it's Special Harmony. Special Harmony beats Shamika. Ike's Dream third. Timberina fourth. Then Boulevard of Dreams. Followed in by La Nikita. Next in Niagara Falls. Followed in by Generosa, and the last few home were Here's Veronica, Barberton and Polar Success.
Special Harmony, she's putting in her claim now, and then Ike's Dream and La Nikita. Special Harmony is lengthening stride with Shamika to peg back Niagara Falls. Shamika hit the front, Special Harmony after her. Ike's Dream is next, Special Harmony got to Shamika. Special Harmony ahead in front. Shamika's battling back, but it's class prevailing here. Special Harmony, 6 wins on the trot. Special Harmony from Shamika, Ike's Dream. And then a photo, Tim. The winner paid $1.40 and $1.10. The runner-up paid $1.90. The third, $2.50. Quinella, $4.30. Exacta, $5.60.
$1 aboard. Special Harmony, $1.50. Shamika, a terrific run second. Ike's Dream third. When you look at that race, Richard, with a fast pace set by Niagara Falls, one would have thought that would have taken a fair bit out of her. How does she thrive on races like that?
Oh, well, she seems to come up pretty well after a hard run, Special Harmony. She may have needed it too, because she's been having track gallops in Melbourne. She really has just been doing it as she pleased. There's been no pressure on her. This is the first race where she had been under any serious pressure, this preparation, and I think she felt it. But all credit to Shamika, she ran very well. But don't forget, Shamika won a Group 1 at this track only last week against older mares, and that's no mean feat either. But I don't think we saw Special Harmony at her best yesterday. I think the hard track didn't help her much either. I think she was, you know, just feeling that hard track a little bit, and the softer surface at Randwick may suit her better. So, I'm assuming it'll be softer. It usually is.
It will be, yeah. But look, she's a very, very, very good filly. I'm still not sure whether I want to back her in the Derby. You know, I may get arguments here. I feel Shamika should have beat her. I know Damien was a little soft on her here. Shamika carted the field up to them tearaway leaders. Special Harmony had her back all the way, was entitled to win racing away here. I thought that second filly's run was sensational yesterday, Shamika.
They don't win racing away, Ronnie, off the back of that sort of pace. You know that.
Yeah, look.
You know that. They're all tired.
I know the second filly did a lot more work.
Yes, she may have, but I don't think we saw the good filly at her best, and I think we'll see an improved Special Harmony.
Your brother Lee's improve her. She's been toying with the opposition down here. She needed a genuine pipe opener, and I don't care where it goes, I'll still be happy to have something on it. The Derby. Don't underestimate the balance of that field. They are very good horses. Estimate the balance of that field. They are very good horses.
Well, if she goes for the Oaks, all I can say is he must be trying to sidestep getting a big weight in the Caulfield Melbourne Cup. She would have won yesterday if she had gone around in the BMW.
Would Shamika have won the BMW?
No. The difference is that there's a limit to how far you can win by when they run a tick over 2 minutes. And when she's asked to go and sort of start to get into a gear about the 600, and that's been foreign to her in recent runs, she's didn't rate below where she's been. Yesterday she beat the 3-year-old who won the only Group 1 mares race just a fortnight ago, Shamika. There's not much more she can do. She's formed a platform her last 8 or 10 starts. If she rated around the same, there's a new platform. It's like watching someone going around at a Stedfords, a little girl going into Stedfords and then turning up at the town hall for the big event, 3,000 people. There's a very big stage waiting for Special Harmony. I can't wait for Lee Freeman to test her, but we may have to wait till the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, for her to prove it. But
did you spend last night watching Strictly Ballroom or something, Tom?
No, I didn't. But she is not being given the credit she deserves. This mare and this filly, but she'll prove it.
I think you're spot on. Good comment.
To the next of the Group 1s in Sydney, the BMW. Mackay Diva is our top rater from Sound Action, Elvstrom and Mummify, 4, 5, 7 and 3. A field of 8 to line up in the Wait for Age Classic. Favourite is the 3-year-old Grand Zulu, $4.10. Mackay Diva to the Group 1 BMW. He was taking on Tie the Knot and all of the top Wait for Age horses at the time. But he managed to do it. He pulled it off and Tie the Knot in 2000 and 1999. Plenty of top horses, Might and Power, Octagonal, Dr. Grace and Citizen, all past winners.
I think, Bruce, if they dawdle, I'll be disappointed. I'm sticking with Grand Zulu from Mackay Diva. I know they're the 2 favourites, but I think they hold the key.
Here's Wayne. Racing now. Grand Zulu near the inside left quickly. Grace Song going back. Sound Action fast away. Mummify's going forward. Elvstrom a little deep, running up to the post the first time, but Oliver looks as though he wants to ride him forward. And here comes Cassidy on Hale. He's out in the middle of the track, but he's going to let him slide. He'll cross over onto the rails by the time they reach the first turn, and Hale takes up the running. Hale to the turn out of the straight. 2,000 metres to go by 2. In front, they leave the back and head down the side. 800 metres left to go. Hale just coming back to them a little bit. 3 in front of Elvstrom. Mummify, 1 away third. 1 back fourth. Grand Zulu coming into it at the right time. Sound Action going forward and coming away from the rails now is Mackay Diva. She's really starting to put in Lashed and Grey Song back behind them. Look at them pack and look at them fan on the home turn. They head for home in the BMW. Mummify sprinted quickly to go to the lead. Grand Zulu's cantering on the outside and he went to Mummify. Mackay Diva is 2 away third, followed by Elvstrom and then Sound Action. Now he's forced to draw the shillelagh on Grand Zulu. He's a neck in front of Mummify. Mackay Diva's up to third. Grand Zulu and Mummify. Grand Zulu's edging away from Mummify. This is real rags to riches. From a maiden to a Group 1. Grand Zulu wins the BMW from Mummify. Third Mackay Diva. Fourth Sound Action or Grey Song. Then Elvstrom, Lashed and Hale, the last one home.
Hey, Call Wayne, what a day for 3-year-olds. Starcraft, Special Harmony, and now Grand Zulu. He's run right up to the wrap you gave him, Ken.
And Sound Action in the straight coming down to the 300, and Grand Zulu put his head in front from Mummify. 2 lengths away third is Mackay Diva, and the others can't win it. Grand Zulu a neck in front from Mummify. Mackay Diva is grinding away, but it's Grand Zulu in front. He's forging clear. It's Group 1 glory for Gwenda Markwell and Grand Zulu. Grand Zulu wins the BMW. Second Mummify, third Mackay Diva, fourth Sound Action. 8, 3, 4 and 5. Grand Zulu. Rodney Quinn is first. Rodney, of course, tasting victory in 2001 on Grey Song, followed home by Elvstrom.
Yeah, Rod Quinn aboard, Grand Zulu, Mummify and Mackay Diva third.
The danger to the good way for age horses in this race was always that a good 3-year-old was going to run in the race. You put a good 3-year-old in the race, it's going to win it every year. That's why I was advocating Special Harmony to run, but I do respect Lee Freeman's choice of running in the other race. I really like the run of Mackay Diva again. Mackay Diva wouldn't have been suited by the track being quite so hard. She's looking for 3,200. There's only a couple of horses in history, 3 horses in total, have won the Melbourne Cup and then backed up to win the Sydney Cup the following year. Okay. And 2 of them are Galilean straight draws. So.
Yeah, I can't see Mackay Diva. I think it's tough for her to win another race, because I think she'll get weighted out of the 3,200 metre handicaps, and I don't think she's a weight for age horse. I don't think weight for age races get run to suit her. I think Mummify went the best he's gone since the Caulfield Cup yesterday. He really...
It's the best he's looked too.
He did look great in the yard, and he ran brilliantly. It was just the weight that the 3-year-old had on him over the last 100 metres that allowed the 3-year-old to just pull away there in the end. But he ran a great race. He's not, in my opinion, essentially a weight-for-age horse either, because weight-for-age races don't get run at the pace he likes it. He liked the strong pace in this race yesterday. He just produces the same sectionals off the back of a fast-run staying race as he does off the back of a slowly run one. Now, it's not quite quick enough for a slowly run one, but it's plenty quick enough when they run fast. And he went really well. But this horse, Grand Zulu, I think he's a very, very good stayer.
Oh,
and if he was staying in this country, he's got all the credentials to be the best stayer up and coming in this country. Now, I understand he's going to Hong Kong. Tragedy for Australian racing, but that's what's happening, I believe.
Can't see why the rush is to get him to Hong Kong. It's too late for the QE2 Cup, which is in about 3 or 4 weeks. There's only next season for him. Why wouldn't they run a horse like that in the Derby and then put him away? But anyway, it's their decision.
Very hard to beat the Derby.
I agree with you, Ron. It was only 6 weeks ago he won a maiden at Hawkesbury, Grand Zulu, so he's made massive steps forward. And incidentally, Mummify's likely to go to Singapore and contest the International Cup there in 6 weeks' time. He'll make a nice mess of them there, won't he?
Dominic, on that, do you think, has it improved?
Oh, it's probably improved 10 lengths in a very, very short time, Alf. But I wouldn't, you know, everyone's getting carried away with Grand Zulu, and it's a very, very good run. It's a very, very good stayer. Any of a half a dozen good 3-year-olds this year would have won that race. One of the greatest 3-year-old races I've rated for about 15 years is the Australian Stakes that Reset beat Starcraft. If Reset was a 1.5 mile horse, it would have won that. It would have walked in that race. Starcraft would have walked in yesterday in that race. Special Harmony would have walked in yesterday in that race. The weight-for-age horses at the moment are there to be beaten. Any good 3-year-old is going to beat them. So let's get it into perspective. Niello beat Grand Zulu last week. Niello's won the Rosehill and Canterbury Guineas and isn't even going to start first or second favourite in the Derby.
Interesting point.
Stakes at Rosehill in 12 minutes. Lonhro a rating special. Private Steer, Grand Army, Keep the Faith, 1, 5, 2 and 6. Punters love him. He's $1.04 for the win. New South Wales, $1 Super Tab, $1.10 Uni Tab, and Private Steer. John O'Shea's good mare is at...
Leading the field out onto the track for the George Rider. Darren Gauci aboard Octagonal, and Darren took him up to the top of the straight and then worked him.
I was thinking maybe I'll do a lap. It feels all right. I might put him in the barriers. I didn't have a go. I might win a race on him yet.
How does he feel, Darren? I mean, being on his back, he's a special horse. I mean, he is 11, but how does he feel to you?
He feels well. He feels healthy. He's a bit
terrific Gouch. Enjoy the moment.
Thank you.
And the day.
2 champions together there, the Gouch and Octagonal.
Tell you what, the Sydney Turf Club have not done a thing wrong about this meeting, have they? I mean, this is just the added touch, isn't it?
Bruce, this was the idea of one of the committeemen, John Holloway, about 6 weeks ago.
And there's a little low. So, little Lonhro. Can he do it again today? It's a big job. 2,000 back to 1,500. He has swept the board in Sydney. He's basically...
To a great start, too. Platinum Scissors beat them out, goes to the lead. Grand Army began nicely. Gentle Genius is going forward on the outside, and Keep the Faith is kicking up along the rails. Then Titanic Jack. Bateman allowing Lonhro to find his feet. He's back second last. He's 6 lengths off the leader. Hero, and 2 off last is Private Steer. On to the next bend. 850 metres to go. Keep the Faith 1 in front of Gentle Genius. Titanic Jack 3rd. Grand Army 4th. 5 the rails is Platinum Scissors. Then Lonhro. Bateman hasn't done anything on him as yet. He's still 6 lengths off the leader. And Private Steer last of all. They're running up towards the home turn. 500 metres left to go. And Keep the Faith is the leader. Titanic Jack is getting up at the inside. Gentle Genius is coming wide, followed by Grand Army. He's sprinting quickly. Platinum Scissors and Lonhro down the outside. Then Private Steer. Grand Army in front. Here comes Lonhro. Lonhro's joining in. The big crowd roaring for him. Lonhro hits the lead. He's just in front of Grand Army. What a magnificent sight. Lonhro's accelerating away from them. The big black stallion charges to the line and wins by 2 lengths. Lonhro first, Grand Army second, third was Private Steer, followed in by Titanic Jack, Platinum Scissors, Keep the Faith, and the last one over the line, Gentle Genius.
Sailed up on the inside and Grand Army to the outside to hit the lead, and Lonhro putting in his run now. They come past the 300 and the crowd is starting to cheer already. They're sensing Lonhro's win. Lonhro cruised past Grand Army, followed by Private Steer, but it's Lonhro in full flight, providing another magnificent spectacle, and Lonhro has walked in from Grand Army and Private Steer. Platinum Scissors followed home. 7-4. The totes are $1.30 and $1.20 for Lonhro. Panic Jack.
Yep. And that's 11 Group 1s for Lonhro. Octagonal Chardet, John Hawkes, Darren Beedman aboard. Darren joins us on the line.
Effort to it.
Darren, the ovation that this horse gets when he goes onto the track, and particularly when he comes back after a win, which is bigger, the ovation that Lonhro gets or the ovation his father Octagonal used to get?
Pretty well much the same, mate. You know, Occy was a favourite, you know, for people. He really... Racing was in a bit of a lull there for about, you know, 10 or 12 years before Occy came on the scene, and he really brought people back to the track. He started getting the colour back into racing.
Occy was there yesterday, which was a great coup, wasn't it?
Oh, it was unbelievable, because the way that Woodland Stud presented Octagonal yesterday, look, I didn't think they were going to put a saddle on him and go 3/4 pace down the straight. Like, this horse is 11-year-old, he's been out of racing for so long, and the way that horse, that stallion, behaved himself is just a credit to everyone concerned.
No, I think it was a brilliant day. I think they had everything there yesterday. Darren, it was
The Golden Slipper, another Group 1 coming up for the 2-year-olds, and Alingi is the top rater, and Rating Special, Charge Forward, Dance Hero, Crimson Rain, 7-2-1-11 on what has been a great day for favourites at Rosehill. So Alingi's going to be served up at short odds $1.50 for the filly, $1.50 New South Wales. Unitab's doing all right, $2.30, and fixed odds punters have been doing all right. They've been betting $2.20 during the week. Dance Hero $7.70 and Charge Forward $8.80, and that's with over 1.1 million in the pool. So
can you believe that? $1.40. $1.40, so maybe that's a big all-up bet. Maybe a big all-up bet has gone on to her. We've got 1.5 million. That's the only reason I could think should be at $1.40. Dance Hero and Charge Forward, well, they're all going to get out now, $8.10.
The money has come for Lee Friedman's filly. Alingi now with me, $1.80. The weight of money, obviously, as I said, the punters are cashed up. All the favourites getting home. The champs are winning. The book.
And Matt joins us now. Thank you, Matt. And they'll be coming along in just a moment for the Amy Golden Slipper. And Alingi will start one of the shortest priced favourites on record, currently on Tab Limited. She's $1.70 and $1.30, and there wouldn't be a lot of variation elsewhere. And the second...
Racing Dane Shadow hesitated at the start, missed it a half length out wide. Crimson Rain and Tiny Girl is showing blistering speed. Chris is kicking up hard on Dance Hero closer to the inside. She's in demand, goes to fourth. Crimson Rain, Flying Firebird going up quickly on the outside. Charge Forward is next. Fastnet Rock and Burning Sands getting back in the field. Alingi's well back, and she's 3 wide too. She's racing outside of Uber and dropping to the rear is Faster Pussycat. Coming down the side, and they're going helter-skelter. Dance Hero's just in front. Flying Firebird attacking him on the outside. She's in demand, is running third, coming out 3 deep. Tiny Girl is fourth on the rails, followed by Charge Forward. One going a little wide on the turn into the straight. That She's in demand. Crimson Rain is working into the clear. Dane Shadow. Where's Alingi? Oliver bringing her to the extreme outside. She's coming after them now, but Dance Hero's the leader. Dance Hero's in front. Charge Forward is coming at Dance Hero. Flashing home down the outside. Dance Hero, Charge Forward, Alingi. Dance Hero's just in front. Charge Forward's having a dive. No, missed him. Dance Hero. Dance Hero beat Charge Forward. Alingi third. Fastnet Rock fourth. Followed in by Dane Shadow, Tiny Girl, Burning Sands. The next one over the line there was Faster Pussycat. Then Consul, Crimson Rain stopped in the straight. She's in demand, and Uber, one of the last home, in company with Flying Flyerbird.
2 lengths to Faster Pussycat. Travelling to the corner in the Golden Slipper, and Dance Hero, a clear-cut leader. A half to 3/4, now a length on Flying Firebird. And then Tiny Girl, Dane Shadow, followed by Charge Forward coming into it. And Alingi is on the extreme outside. They pass the 250. And Muntz goes for home on Dance Hero, a length and a half Charge Forward. And a similar margin, Alingi. Here she comes, the favourite. Dance Hero still the leader from Charge Forward. Alingi, is she running out of ground? Dance Hero in front, holding Charge Forward. Dance Hero wins the Golden Slipper from Charge Forward. Alingi third, Fastnet Rock fourth. From Gypsy Dancer, the runner-up trained by Johnny O'Shea, Darren Beedman gave him a lovely run. And number 7, Alingi, she ran out of ground. She was wide coming down the side, a daughter of Encosta de Lago and Ocean Fast.
How excited is Chris Muntz, and justifiably so. By Dance Hero out of Gypsy Dancer, Gay Waterhouse a training triumph, Chris Muntz aboard, Charge Forward second, Alingi third. And Chris joins us online now.
Chris, Richard here. When you jumped out, obviously you meant to go forward, and you did, and you managed to get to the rail in front, which was a great position to be in. Did you get a rest at any stage in the race? It seemed after the first corner you just might have got a couple of 100 metres there to just take a breather.
Yeah, like Richard, really, in all honesty, I probably only went for about, I'd say, a furlong at the max. After that, he was just on the bit, travelling quite strongly, and I was nearly going to let Lenny go at one stage, but I said, oh no, I didn't want to have a slow horse like that in front of me, and I held my ground, and he was always travelling beautifully, which made it a lot easier for me.
Chris, my congratulations to you on the way that you handled the speed of the race. They talk about jockeys having a clock in their head. Chris, you went out 34.3, came home 34.3. You went a speed that wasn't comfortable for those back in the midfield. They had to keep chasing, and you sustained the run all the way to the line. That's where my congratulation lies. You knew what time the horse could run, and you did it all the way at the same speed. So that's clever riding.
Yeah, thanks very much. I think he's a very good horse. This, he's always run the sectional. He's the only 2-year-old that's ever broken 9-0 that's been able to break 1-9 twice in his preparation. You know, at the Gold Coast he run 1-8.5, and he's run 1-8.5 again yesterday. So he's got a lot of speed about him, this guy, and he saves it all for race day. Really, on the track and the trial, he only does what he has to do, but on race day he's the real deal.
It became mission impossible, Chris, for Damien Oliver and Alingi to make up the ground on you. Lee Friedman saying this morning that it was a combined mistake. He said he would forever push forward in a Golden Slipper. Do you think that's a required tactic too?
Look, the pattern of racing out in the Golden Slipper has changed over the years. I mean, I remember when I first started riding in the Golden Slipper about 10 years ago, you were loath to lead on a horse in the Golden Slipper to give it any chance of winning, but these days the horses have changed their training, they've changed their patterns of racing, and they can do it. You know, horses these days can do it, and just goes to show he's the first horse that's done it for many years, Dan's Hero. But look, I don't think it would have mattered what Alingi done yesterday. In all honesty, she wouldn't have beaten Dan's Hero no matter what she'd done.
And Chris, Alf down in Melbourne as well. Can it run 1,400 metres?
No doubt, Alf will run a mile. He's the sort of horse that only does what he has to do, like I said before.
Feet by Gay?
Oh, definitely. To peak a horse twice in more or less one preparation, from the Magic Millions to the Golden Slipper, is not an easy thing to do. And look, take nothing away from her. She had that horse spot on yesterday, no doubt about it.
And the second interesting point, $2.10 into $1.70, Alingi, the betting fluctuations in the Golden Slipper. That's quite something, isn't it,
It's unheard of, I think.
Yes, it's a huge plunge.
It is in a big race like that.
It certainly is. Ron's raised a very interesting point here about getting a horse to rise twice in one preparation. It's much easier to do it from the Magic Million to the Slipper than it is from the Blue Diamond to the Slipper. And I've warned before, history was against Alingi from that point of view, and it's a bit unfortunate. She just couldn't get back to that Blue Diamond rating. I think if she was there on the day, Alingi, she would have really stretched Dan's Hero.
All right. Well, let's have...
Ken Pope deputising for Glenn Collis, who was injured earlier today when a horse threw his head, hit him in the mouth. So it's not an easy race, and this is not an easy ride for Scott Galloway either, because with a horse like Wide Awake, around here with the rail out 7.5 metres, you can't be giving away...
The well-backed favourite in the last in a bound. And currently in a bound is 380 and 170. Good money.
The Queen of the Turf Stakes, Group 2 for the fillies and mares. Chris Muntz aboard, again for Gay Waterhouse in a bound.
A length is Annis, and Jessie's gone through nearer to the inside, and the grey Faith Hill to the outside, just inside of her Forum Floozy. In the stretch, they come to the 300 marker. In a bound, given full ball by Munson, raced a heck of a party in for Yamarosa. St Jessie, Mrs Tendulkar's got along the rail, and then Xana, but it's in a bound. Out in the centre of the track, the leader. Second, her stablemate, heck of a party, followed by St Jessie, but it's in a bound in front, and caps a great day for Chrissy Muntz. In a bound, has beaten heck of a party, and then Ain't Seen Nothing, Mrs Tendulkar, Forum Floozy, St Jessie for Yamarosa. So it's 6, 15, 1 and 3 on the final event of the day, and the official tape divvies. Number 6, 390 and 170.
The favourite in the race over heck of a party. Ain't Seen Nothing's run was good.
Very, very good run, Ain't Seen Nothing. Capped off a lovely day for Gay Waterhouse, Quinella in the last.
Yep, and Ain't Seen Nothing's in the yellow colours, weaving its run, it turned its previous form totally around where it finished down the track.
Good mare in a bound. I think they've been heading towards the Doncaster with her. I don't know whether that'll get her enough penalty to actually get into the race, but it'll be line ball with her. Certainly, you know, that they needed to win within a bound that race to get a chance to be in the Doncaster. So I think with in the Doncaster with a lightweight, if it scrapes into the field, it'd be something to beat.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ain't Seen Nothing run a good race in the Doncaster.
Yes, with no way. Is she in the field yet?
She may scrape in.
Borderline, yeah.
Quickly, for the last race, New Zealand, the Awapuni Gold Cup. In fact, they're pretty close to a start. Distinctly Secret 260 is the New Zealand favourite.
Barrier 2, Distinctly Secret. Racing. Lochran just a length behind them at the jump. Capstad Way goes back as well. And Green Street, as usual, came away quickly. Irish Rover straight up onto the speed. Princess Oregon. Well, the big guns behind those. Capstad Way and Distinctly Secret. He's third from last. And Need in and out at the 600 metres. And then Doyle and Lochran. They run up towards the home corner in the Lawn Master Awapuni Gold Cup. And it is Green Street in front. Irish Rover starting to get on terms over on the outside. And then Boycott Capstad Way to the outside, and Distinctly Secret into the clear. Irish Rover took over as he liked halfway down, but here comes big Distinctly Secret. He's about to charge. Irish Rover 2 lengths in front. Distinctly Secret is trying to gun him down, but the Wellington Star going all right. Irish Rover, Distinctly Secret is launched. Oh, another great finish. Irish Rover and Distinctly Secret, little or nothing in it. Lochran third, and then we had Green Street and Capstad Way. Boycott behind them, Prince.
New Zealand, 1 Distinctly Secret, Opie Bosson, and 4 Irish Rover, DJ Walker. Lochran, number 6, was back in third spot. Look to the next at Randwick. It's the Carbine Club Stakes for 3-year-olds, where Speedy King is a rating special from Harley Ma, Toulouse-Lautrec, and Chosen Light. 2, 4, 6 and 3. Here's the market. We've got 380 for Toulouse-Lautrec. It's 10 cents shorter than Harley Ma. Carbine Club Stakes coming up in 13 minutes' time.
On this perfect day weather-wise in Sydney, a huge crowd at Randwick. They're all in.
By the name of Toulouse-Lautrec. Everyone was talking about it after its barrier trial performances recently. This is the listed Carbine Club Stakes, and it's a big striding horse coming down in the white with a yellow cap. Have a look at this.
Inside the distance, and Viking Tour is the leader. Here comes Toulouse-Lautrec on the outside, picking up Viking Tour, and Toulouse-Lautrec swept away. Viking Tour, Harley Ma, Red Terror battle out miners, but Toulouse-Lautrec wins again. Second is close, Harley Ma with Viking Tour and Red Terror 3 of the minute.
Race number 3 from Randwick. While we've got a spare moment, let's look.
Rod Quinn, Red Terror from the Guy Walters stable at Big Odds. I think you've got that, haven't you?
Yeah, he's nice.
I've got interest in that, yes. And Harley Ma Thurbet. He's no oil painting.
No, he's a big goose-looking thing, isn't he? Look at him. He's all legs, and he reminds me of a Starcraft early in his preparation. He just doesn't know where to put him as yet. I don't know what John Hawkes has in mind for this horse, but look, he looks a group horse in the making. Whether he goes to Queensland as well, I'm not so sure, but he can handle wet and dry, and looks to have a lot of raw talent.
He sure does. He needs to furnish a little bit. He needs to fill out and become a racehorse. Harley Ma there was a beautiful ride from
It's as
Damien
far as
Oliver.
she wants, isn't it?
She probably didn't get the trip, Harley Ma, so, you know, he was bound to overhaul her. Viking Tour battled on well, and Red Terror chased home nicely from the back, but I'm impressed with this horse. I'm just not sure that this race is a true guide to whether he's a group horse, but he's certainly got the raw talent.
Yeah, I think one of those races he won was on a heavy track, wasn't it, Ron?
Yeah, look at him stretch here. Oh, he's a group horse. Look at this. Oh, no, he's a group horse.
There's something about him.
Yeah. The next race from Randwick is the Group 3 Sapphire Stakes, and it's due in 13 minutes' time. A race for the fillies and mares. Miss Potential is a rating special ahead of Paraka, Cataclysm and Seances, 4, 5, 8 and 1. Got 11 runners, but the firm pick is Seances, number 1, trained by John Hawkes, who trained the
kilos here. She's got a good gait. Alley number 4. Recurring was in a
start when it bolted. Well, yesterday it was ridden in behind, and watch it get a split in the closing stages. Good performance here, and Karen McAvoy again.
By Cataclysm, Fair Embraces very wide out, followed by Paraka. Seances would need to get a spurt on, and Recurring. Fair Embrace out after Miss Potential, and between them Cataclysm and Fair Embrace, and Recurring is coming home fast. They hit the line. Recurring, it dived through the middle. They're all over the place. Recurring with Fair Embrace and Cataclysm. They're the three going across, locked together. From Paraka.
Yep.
And who trained the first winner today, Sam Sung a Song. Super Tab dividends coming through. Karen McAvoy heading to England next week to ride for Godolphin. Rode a couple of...
Locked together. From Paraka.
Yep. Gerald Ryan's going well. Karen McAvoy aboard. Fair Embrace can't quite crack it for a win, and Cataclysm was third.
Yeah, look, probably over the odds Recurring. Karen McAvoy's got a sensational record on her. She bolted in front when the saddle slipped a little last time. She would have been something beat here because she got done with halfway down the straight, and then she got accidentally hit over the head halfway down the straight. And look, she gathered herself up and did a terrific job. There was excuses for the second mare as well. She was wide all the way, and she was gallant with the big weight. Paraka had no cover, some excuse there. I thought Seances was very disappointing. Expected her to do a little more.
This is the middle pin of Karen McAvoy's first Sydney treble. He flies out of Melbourne tomorrow to ride in 3-year-old trials in Dubai on Tuesday. He'll be back in
15 minutes. Dance Hero and Charge Forward, then Fastnet Rock and Genius and Evil, 1, 2, 3 and 5. And he's still favourite Charge Forward, 3.20. Favourite on all TABs, so punters are of the opinion he can turn the tables on the Golden Slipper winner, Darts Hero, Evil for Damien Oliver. That's the 5th event, the Sires in 13 minutes.
A couple of big punters, particularly for Dance Hero, who's drawn a wideish alley. Faster Pussycat out. Previous Recurring
was making it successive wins now in the Sires Produce. It's now 5 from 6. Out from barrier 12, across comes Dance Hero with Glenn Boss aboard.
With gusto, leads a length and a half, Wager Fastnet Rock. Brannigan collecting himself, followed by Rule of Engagement, and then Gaze on Genius and
Oh, well, Chris does a wonderful job on this horse. And, you know, he deserves all the credit for his rides, absolutely. But, you know, he's such an easy horse to ride. He takes the race by the scruff of the neck. He's a cool customer. He doesn't even turn a hair, you know. He gets in the barriers, he stands like an old stager, and he's just got electric speed out of the machines, and he's just got a great cruising speed. And, you know, I don't think the mile next week will pose a problem, because you just got to look what's behind him that's going to beat him next week, you know. And
that's what I was just going to ask you, Glenn. It looks like he's not going to have any trouble running the mile out, because, as you said before, he really does travel sweetly, doesn't he?
Yeah, I could have went much slower yesterday, but I just decided to, you know, the 7 furlongs at Randwick traditionally is a very easy 7 furlongs. It's, you know, so I just decided, you know, just to let him roll along at his even tempo. But next week Chris will be able to go, you know, a second slower, a furlong, you know, on him, and it won't even be a problem. So, you know, if he happens to go, he'll probably go 1,000 metres work and gallop and dash up 3.
Do you think long-term as an older horse, when, you know, there's a lot more pressure in these races, you know, at a mile and further, do you think he'll get further than a mile? I think he can win at a mile, but does he look like a horse that could ever get further to you?
Well, I think, you know, he's a funny horse. You know, you look at him, he's a very tall, athletic, lean type of 2-year-old. He doesn't carry any excess condition, really. I mean, Gay could probably stretch him further than a mile, but if he thickens up and gets a bit rounder, I'm sure he'll probably become... He's so brilliant, he probably could end up being one of the outstanding sprinters, you know. I'm not going to... I'll sit on the fence here because he could go either way.
Bossy, you know when he was off the fence around about the 900 metre mark there, was he sort of half high inclined to just want to hang slightly?
No, I decided to stay about 3 wide, and he dipped a couple of times with me around about the half mile there. He actually, a couple of times he dipped quite badly. You probably just see it there. So I decided to stay out on a bit more even ground. I worked out a bit further. I mean, he was doing pretty well his own speed, so I was happy to go where I was.
Only 4 2-year-olds have done the Triple Crown, Glenn, Baguette, Luskin Star and Terse, but none since Burst in 1992. So you have to be talented and versatile. Do you think the Dance Hero has got the recipe for that?
I think he has, because when you look at his preparation, you know, like he went into the slipper, he had a great prep. He had 1 run, a trial, and then into the slipper. So it's probably fair to say that this horse is, you know, he's going to hold this rating because this is only his 3rd run, this preparation. So, you know, it's fair to say Gay will just be able to tick him over this week and just keep him happy and relaxed, and he'll probably come out next week and run the same sort of rating, because I think he's still on the, I wouldn't say he's on the improve, but he's at that stage in his preparation where I'm pretty sure he'll come out and do the same thing next week.
Glenn, it's highly unlikely that you're going to meet anything that's any better than what you met yesterday, given the fact that you did a little bit of work in the early stages. Wouldn't it suggest that he'd lead easier and run out the mile a bit stronger?
No doubt else. That's exactly what I was getting to before. He'll just...
He's about the track surface at Randwick yesterday.
Well, you know, it turned pretty quickly, but maybe it was nothing like it was 3 months ago. I'll give you the tip. It had length on what it was doing 3 months ago, so that's a positive thing. But
the AJC Australian Derby at Randwick in 14 minutes' time. It's not far away. Special Harmonies, the top rater, Niello, Starcraft and Del Zao. 12, 2, 3 and 4. $2 million race coming up. Group 1 for the 3-year-olds, and Starcraft has taken over as favourite. He's at 320 now, the main 3 in the market for the Australian Derby. The first out to 370, so a bit of a drifter. Niello on the tote, Starcraft and Special Harmony are the 2 that are very firm in betting.
Blaze, as we pick up Ian Craig's call, Braylock the leader.
Change in the Derby as they sweep to the High Street side. They've got 850 ahead of them here, and Braylock is the leader. Second posse, Timberina, 2.5 Penitentiary and 3/4 Special Harmony. 1.5 to Del Zao, Kingside, followed by Lord of the Land. Starcraft wedged away and then comes under the bridge, followed by Elstrom, Dancing Daggers. Niello second last, and Kind Actors last as they come to the home corner. 500 metres out, and Braylock is the leader, a length on Timberina. Special Harmony being called upon by Oliver, and then Del Zao followed by Starcraft. Boss has got him away from the rails, and the Gold Coast Colt is starting to come down the udder, and the yellow heads the others. Now 200 metres to go. Special Harmony struggles. Here's Starcraft after Braylock and Timberina from Del Zao. Starcraft on the outside races up to Braylock. Starcraft and Braylock, the 2 of them go to the line. Starcraft on the outside, or Braylock in a terrific finish. They're wide apart. Third posse going to Del Zao from Elstrom, Timberina. Further back, Special.
Well, he's a brilliant racehorse, and he has a wonderful future, Starcraft. He's off to the spelling paddock. That's it for his autumn campaign. A well-deserved spell because he's been up for a long time, but we'll see him later in the year. Races like Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate. And, well, with what he's shown in the autumn, he could easily give them a huge shake. That second horse out of interest was paying $194.60 for the win in New South Wales, and it's been beaten by the narrowest of margins. Braylock, he ran the race of his life. Guy Walters almost come away with the Derby with a Class 2 horse. And
$3.30 equal favourite. With the unplaced Special Harmony. Braylock at any old odds, 100 to 1 second, and Del Zao third. Soviet Star out of Flying Floozy. Glenn Boss is the jockey at the moment. He joined away over on the fence as they went past the 1,000. We're going to pick up the action here of the full race, and you can take us through it. But were you happy where you were, particularly as they went to the far side of the course there towards the 1,000?
Yeah, the race was a bit muddling. The pace was on and off at different stages throughout the race, and I was following Del Zao, you know, throughout the whole race pretty well. And my bloke, he just gave me such a kind ride. He never touched the bridle. He was so relaxed, and he was totally focused there yesterday. So, you know, with the change in tempo, you know, the horse in front of me either moved forward or back, but my horse's momentum never changed. He just went at the same tempo pretty well the whole way. And when he picked up the bridle around about the 600 and moved into it, you know, I thought he was going to win quite convincingly, but at the end of the day, he's probably not going to be remembered as a great mile-and-a-half horse. I think he's going to be best remembered as a miler, and probably 2,000 metres would probably be his best distance.
He's got some great attributes, Bossy, this horse, hasn't he? Because he sort of instinctively knows to switch off, but then when you let him loose, he knows to get going, but he starts to do things wrong, and only the good horses can make mistakes like he does in running and still get away with it and win big races.
Yeah, he's an amazing horse. Like, he reminds you of like one of them big young basketballers in America. They're big and awkward looking, but they've got, you know, so much ability. He's one of them.
Glenn, this is the perfect ride here. Like, you know you're on Del Zayo's back. You must have seen Special Harmony bolting here. You get onto her back. It was just, everything went perfect, didn't it?
Pretty well, you know, like, you know, from a good barrier here, you know, he just cuddly run pretty well all the way, so all I had to do was get out on Special Harmony. I thought she looked like travelling like the winner, actually. I didn't realise that she'd over-raced pretty well most of the way, but getting to this point, I thought she was looking like the winner, so if I got on her back, she might be able to, you know, drag me into the race. And I was surprised actually when I went past it like she did, but, you know, in hindsight, after looking at the race, she has over-raced.
Then we're watching Starcraft's winning run unfold now, but did it peak 100 metres before the post?
For sure. He was completely gassed. Actually getting to this point now, you know, about 150 out, he was completely gassed, and, you know, pretty early had to draw on all his reserves and stick his big buff head out. You know, luckily he's got a big one, so... But, you know, he's, like I said, I don't think he'll be remembered as a great mile-and-a-half horse because, you know, but at the end of the day, a good 3-year-old that wins a derby doesn't always turn out to be a good stayer.
Right, as we speak also, Glenn, is
he the best horse you've ever ridden? You've ridden some good ones.
He's definitely the best 3-year-old I've ridden, because just through one fact that he's doing this on sheer ability alone. He really doesn't know what he's out there for. Like like Sky Heights and those sort of horses, when he won a derby, he was pretty switched on. He knew exactly what he was there for and was a perfect 3-year-old. This horse is, like I said, you just feel like there's so much more.
And just got power with the features in Sydney, $1 million race. It's the TJ Smith, Regimental Gal, Our Egyptian Rain, Pateza and Ancient Song, 10, 8, 4 and 9. Running through the market there, we'll get to Regimental Gal. She'll be the favourite, but Defier at $5 is very firm. Thorn Park, $9.90. Down to Our Egyptian Rain at 10. Good mare, trained by Graham Begg. Regimental Gal at $2.50 for Stephen King, and it would be appropriate if Gay Waterhouse, and they'll be moving in shortly. She's a great filly, Regimental Gal. She's flying this campaign. She won the Lightning first up at Flemington, then was beaten in the Newmarket. She ran third behind Exceed and Excel, and then bounced back with a win in the Australia Stakes at Moonee Valley. That was 3 weeks ago. She led all the way. She has been to Sydney before. She's won at Randwick.
Was sent out the favourite here and led clearly, as you can see, coming around the home turn, but soon after the challenges were coming thick and fast.
Ancient Song, then Century Kid, Our Egyptian Rain going after Regimental Gal, and wider out on the track, Hasna, Dilly Dally, Mystagic, and then comes Legally Bay, Defies back, fourth last Regimental Gal, taken on by Our Egyptian Rain, and Dilly Dally, and down the outside Legally Bay, Dilly Dally hits the front from Legally Bay, and Dilly Dally beat to Legally Bay, and Mystagic ran third from Our Egyptian Rain with Regimental
Trainer at Caulfield of the TJ Smith. That was worth $1 million, that race, massive prize money. And yes, the English, they'll be getting an in-form rider when Karen gets...
Good training performance by Leon McDonald. It's based at Caulfield, Dilly Dally, and Karen McAvoy, as Ron said, big day for him yesterday. Legally Based second, Mystagic third. Ron, what did you make of Regimental Gal?
Look, I was a touch disappointed with her. I thought he may have went a little early straightening up.
Pardon?
What?
A little early.
But as you said, Graham, this was not a good training performance, a great training performance. Like this filly's been up a while. It was the first try in Sydney. She's part owned, she's bred by Leon McDonald. She's a good trainer.
He is. Tell you what, you've got to watch Kieran McAvoy here on this. There is no better stylist in the saddle at the moment. He has a beautiful style, and now he's starting to put it together as a master tactician as well, and he's really coming of age as a jockey. No wonder they've snapped him up for Godolphin internationally as the #2 rider, and I was very impressed with him yesterday. I thought, you know, Kieran needed to lift a few notches to be a #1 rider, and he's done that, so I'm really impressed with him. Dilly Dally, well done to Dilly Dally, great effort. Thorne Park, you nearly got to say this preparation, you've nearly got to sack him for this prep. He's better than that, but I've nearly got to sack him. And Patezza, I thought, ran pretty well, ran into a traffic jam, and there's a race in Patezza soon. But it keeps having bad luck, Patezza, because it races like that.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. Never out of luck, Patezza, and it was a very good run. But Thorne Park, Bossy got 10 out of 10 for both his Group 1 wins, but I'm glad he's not on the phone now. But he sat at the rear on that horse, 6 wide all the way, and then he sort of kicked up from the 600.
Plenty of pace, though.
Why do you sit 6 wide? Why do you sit 6 wide and then he fanned 12 wide, 10 wide around the home turn, straightened up 12 lengths off the lead?
Yeah, there's only the one turn.
And we all know that Thorne Park is a horse that's got a limited sprint, and he's a horse that should be tucked away. Look, I'm not defending the horse, don't get me wrong, but he certainly didn't have his chance yesterday.
I think you're fairly harsh there. Defier got the tick for mine too. I thought it was a fair run, Defier.
Okay.
Actually, guys, I think...
Okay.
Actually, guys, I think what you've got to remember too is the fact that both of those horses, first and second, come out of the Australian Stakes, and both were desperately unlucky and should have nearly run third.
Look, Mystique got a tick from me. He's had a couple of runs back. He's had injury problems. He's travelled, and look, I think he ran a terrific race.
He did. In around about 14 minutes, and Stadium is the top raider from Mummify, Lord Erin, and Fawaz. The distance of the St Ledger, 2,600 metres, and Mummify at $2.10, County Tyrone at $5.30, and
Number 8 out here. This is the San Miguel St Ledger handicap, the registered name, the chairman's handicap. And Mummify is the popular pick, Oliver. County Tyrone in front again from Variza, coming to the 250. But here's Mummify claiming County Tyrone. It's County Tyrone and Mummify. They've raced clear of Variza. Mummify on the outside, County Tyrone. Mummify, County Tyrone. Mummify, a nose in front. Mummify, I reckon, a nostril, County Tyrone. 3 in it for third. Stadium, Saturday Fever, and Variza 6. Mummify. 29 starts, 6 wins, 7 seconds and 6 thirds, and scored by a short head.
Thank you, Ian. 145, and terrific win under a big weight, but equally impressive performance from a Sydney Cup point of view by County Tyrone, who had to come from gate 18.
Yeah. They went into the race, we thought they were a class above them. That's the way it turned out to be. Mummify's just scoring from County Tyrone, and Saturday Fever a fair way back in third position. Gutsy effort, first and second.
I have to say, I know the horse pretty well, and I know how hard he's trying. Look at him on screen here with his ears flat back against his head. He cannot produce any more, and he's lumping 60 kilos. He's giving 4.5 kilos to a pretty good horse in County Tyrone inside him there, and that is a gutsy effort from the Caulfield Cup winner. He is back to the level he was when he won the Caulfield Cup. And I have to say, he's sort of tossing up whether he goes to Singapore with him, whether he runs him in the Sydney Cup.
Which way will he go? We want to know.
On that this morning, he'll definitely run in the Sydney Cup. He drops to 57.5 kilos in the Sydney Cup. He'll meet County Tyrone 1.5 kilos better. He can't do both, so they'll scrap plans for him to run in the Singapore Cup.
Loves his racing, and he's just starting to get fit and peak at the perfect time.
He's thrived in Sydney, this horse. He's absolutely thrived. Look, it got a bit hairy. Look, it was a beautiful ride by Nick. He just sat on County Tyrone's back the whole way. I thought, straightening up, look at this, he's going to blow him away. But give the second horse a lot of credit there. He fought tenaciously. Look, there was a run race.
Adrian Knox and French Lady, the top raider from Demerger, Revolutions and Zalut. Very open market. Demerger at 540, Touched by God 350, Revolutions at 680 out to 710, Wild Iris 11, French Lady at 830. Zalut will have support at 790, but the rest of them are pretty big later. Now, horses are moving up in Sydney. Race number 9, the Adrian Knox, as we join Ian Craig.
Filly in Wild Iris in the Adrian Knox Stakes, headed for the Oaks, and Guy Walters, the trainer. as we pick up the action. It's in the Tate colours and the red with a white cap coming down the outside.
It's the lead down to the distance. Wild Iris, Saporito second, Touched by Good, and then comes Revolutions making a late dash, but Wild Iris shut away, is home and hosed in the last. Wild Iris from Revolutions and Saporito, and that's the way they finish. Wild Iris wins easily from Revolution, Saporito, and Touched by God, and then Demur came Salute further back, Maestro Miss, and then came Colour Therapy, Volca Spray, Avectoire, Touched by God, and then Demur.
French Guy Walter, the trainer. It's following similar patterns as Republic Lass when you think about it, Ron.
Well, you look at it. Look, she's not nominated for the Oaks, so she's got to pull up well, and they've got to pay a late entry fee. But I'd say that'd be no problem with the Tates. Look, sense of timing about her. She is a similar path to Republic Lass. Republic Lass won a maiden at Hawkesbury, won this race, and then dominated in the Oaks. This filly won a maiden at Canterbury, wins this race in a dominant fashion. Looks like she can stay, and I think if Special Harmony runs in the Oaks, this filly may just outstay her.
Do you know what? These horses she beat finished tailed off behind the second last horse in the Derby.
Well, right? I told you, I warned you about Special Harmony. You should have run her in the Doncaster.
Is that right? Well, you're probably right. I think Special Harmony is a 2,000-metre horse. I don't really think she's a 2,400-metre horse, but I think at 2,400 metres as a 3-year-old, she can still beat these.
Guy Walter, just speaking of Guy Walter.
Hard on Wild Iris there, because I'm a little inclined to agree with Ron there, given the fact that that's the first time a staying horse has got the opportunity to get out over a little bit of ground. That's when it's showing improvement.
And only the second time with blinkers, and she's blown them apart twice with blinkers now.
All right, we'll see. We will see.
And the other one that followed similar steps.
Did a good job as well, the Queensland.
Particularly a Scarlet Scene, and Alfie's gone for Wild Iris. Okay, now the Doncaster, of course, is on tomorrow. I've gone for Private Steer. You've gone for Vocabulary.
Yeah, I think it's going quite well. I think, you know, well weighted in a race like this. Needs a little bit of luck from the awkward barrier, but yeah, I think it's right in the race for sure. And I think Gordo and True Glow are the dangers there.
And value.
Yeah, they'll be all good prices.
Yep. Ron, Fantastic.
Look, I haven't completely locked into Fantastic. It all revolves around Miss Potential backing up.
It's a throw.
Backing up from yesterday. She's the speed in the race, Miss Potential. If Fantastic gets speed, they're still going to be given the track. I think Fantastic's the one.
And see a very, very good race.
Keith's gone for Private Steer, and Alf agrees with you. True Glow. Wow, there you go. There is saying something.
You put the pen through him.
Kate, you have a good day.
4 and 15. Only Words is the top rater. Utsen, Santissima and Skittles, 7, 2, 9 and 3. Good race, this one. The South Pacific Classic over 1,400 metres. Utsen's at 420. Down to Only Words. Very, very smart filly. And she's come up the firm.
In and attended with Mag Sayer. And they're set to go. In the South Pacific Classic, the San Miguel South Pacific Classic, 1,400 metres. Skittles draws to Carwheater to head it off. Santissima, Only Words on the inside of Carwheater and Skittles. And near enough to the rails, Utsen. Santissima coming down the outer with Mag Sayer. Only Words, only about 2 off the inside. She accelerates. And this talented filly raced away from Skittles and Carwheater. And Only Words makes it 4 in a row. Utsen late for second, but it's Only Words from Utsen. Very close third, Carwheater in company with Skittles. And Santissima's Face Value, followed home then by nearer to the inside Pontigard, wider out Mag Sayer. Regal Thrills in company with Ears Veronica, the last couple. Oh, she's a very, very good filly.
First 4, I can tell you, on 7243, $531.60. And next at Randwick, it's the Heroic Championship for the 2-year-olds. A favourite, the beaten favourite, Alingi. And she is our Sky Top rater. A rating special, Crimson Rain, Dabkey Dancer and Public Opinion, 8, 9, 4 and 1. And here's the market. She's come up at $1.20 Alingi, $1.10 Super Tab and $1.10 on Unitab. After a third placing in the slipper behind Dance Hero and Charged Forward, who ran big races on the weekend. Well, certainly Dance Hero did take.
Now the horses are moving in particularly well for the William Inglis Heroic Championship over the 1,300 metres. And the Commandments, they're on the swing now in the Heroic, and the leader Gold Pied right ahead a peep over the right shoulder. Crimson Rain joined it and headed it on the outside segments, and then comes on the inside Conrod Straight. Now let's look for a Lingy. Here she comes, about 4 off the rail. She's after Crimson Rain. Commandments wide out. A Lingy lengthening stride, pegs back Crimson Rain. Crimson Rain still in front. A Lingy can't catch her. Crimson Rain is safely holding the Victorian, and Crimson Rain wins the Heroic. A Lingy second, Commandments third, then Public Opinion segments, followed by Above Deck Holidazzle, Mind the Step Corniche, and then came Dabkey Dancer, Aqualuna, Gold Pied. Faster Pussycat, and tailed off was Conrod Straight. She was too good. Beat the Victorian fair and square. Just on the turn near enough to it by Mr. Henry C. A 2-year-old chestnut gelding out of Sweet Mazel, Kev Moses, Darren Beatman.
All right, thank you, Ian. And fourth placing goes to number 1, Public Opinion. Another Queen minutes away from the feature today, the Doncaster Handicap, being run on Easter Monday this year. And Private Steer is the top rater from True Glow, up from Victoria for the Freedmans. Vocabulary and Miss Potential, 7, 5, 13 and 15. He's had a good campaign too, True Glow. He won well at Rosehill last time out, picking up the Ajax Stakes, and he's certainly not the worst of them. $14 there on New South Wales, 10 on Super Tab. Grand Army, last year's winners at 10. Other horses in the teens there, Pentastic and we mentioned True Glow, but Ambulance and Private Steer are the top 2 in the market. $5.40 for Private Steer and $5.50 for Ambulance. Shower of Roses, number 10's at $18, down to Vocabulary. Kablamo 11 and Shamika at $15. She was the winner of the Coolmore Classic, over 1,500 a Group 1 race. And Forum Floozy, number 18's at $21. As Ron Duffy said, she gets her chance to win the Doncaster. Ron has tipped Pentastic though. He's gone with number 2, the Victorian, $18. Ron tipped Pentastic ahead of 1 Grand Army, 7 Private Steer, and he thought that Ain't Seen Nothing number 12 had been turned out well. So Ronnie's numbers at 2, 1, 7 and 12 for the Doncaster. Grand Army attempting to do what Pharaoh did a few years back and make it back-to-back wins. And of course, both trained by Gay Waterhouse, who has a terrific record in this race. Secret Savings, Sprint By, Assertive Lad. She's had a
Today, Gay Waterhouse aiming to equal her dad Tommy Smith's record of 7, with a strong 4-pronged attack led by the well-backed defending champion Grand Army. In his way, race favourite Private Steer aboard, the man with the Midas touch. Glenn Boss looking for his 3rd Group 1 in as many days.
Racing, Pentastic near the inside, fast away. Grand Army is going to be ridden for speed and going...
What was to follow? One of Australian Turf's great performances. Private Steer in the blue colours, last and seemingly no chance.
Where is Private Steer? She's last as they straighten up. And here comes Grand Army. Grand Army with a brilliant run right down the outside. Here's swamping the opposition. Grand Army went to the lead. Private Steer is flying home. Grand Army, Private Steer. Private Steer has got up to win it. She jumped down on the ground, Private Steer.
Her win compared...
Where is Private Steer? She's last as they straighten up. And here comes Grand Army. Grand Army with a brilliant run right down the outside. Here's swamping the opposition. Grand Army went to the lead. Private Steer is flying home. Grand Army, Private Steer. Private Steer has got up to win it. She jumped down on the ground, Private Steer.
Her win compared to the great Superimpose, another cause for celebration for Boss, back in the...
Performance by Private Steer and, of course, Glenn Boss. In many ways, it was very reminiscent to me of Superimpose's win.
Sure was.
When he had to switch it back to the inside. Now, where is it? It's back...
He's trying to track wide back in the blue colours, 3rd last, heading towards the outside rail here, but there's a wall of horses in front of him there. There's absolutely nowhere to go, and he's thinking, what have I done here? And then suddenly a gap appears, and he dives at it. There he goes, straight into the gap, Glenn Boss, and then it's just got to be luck from there on. Does the Red Sea open for him? And it certainly does.
And here's Grand Army coming down the outside. It's about here you're saying go, John, don't you?
It's just a brilliant effort here. And the last, she did exactly the same thing yesterday.
It was mounting yard mayhem.
John O'Shea's having a big go.
be blue the next week, I think, mate. It's just going to melt into each other these days. It's just going to overfold. No one's getting home. No one's going to work.
Jockey Glenn Boss rating it as one of his greatest moments.
I got sold out of 1,000. I got 2 bad checks, and I just shook my head in absolute disgust. I thought, of all days, I just shook my head and thought, no hope. That win will be talked about for a long time because she should not have won. Absolutely should not have won.
How does that rank in your career as far as important?
Mate, that's equal to the Cup. Equal to the Cup.
The fairy tale extending to the present.
Of the others then, Private Steer weaving her way between horses. Miss Potential still in front, past the 200. Here's last year's winner, Grand Army. He swapped Miss Potential, and Grand Army from Miss Potential. Private Steer late. Grand Army is the leader. Private Steer's gunning it down. Private Steer got up to win it from Grand Army at Ambulance. Then this man should Miss Potential. A mare by Dane Hill Dancer from Lyshino and a bay mare 4, start 17, win 10, a training triumph for Johnny O'Shea, setting her for this particular race and to come from last. And another superb ride by Glenn Boss. There is nobody in the world, I'd imagine, riding better than this bloke. And Waddington's Grand Army gelding by Hennessy from Tambour, Gay Waterhouse, Danny Beasley.
Exactly the same thing yesterday. The last 20 metres, she attacks the line. You know?
Unbelievable. I just love her. You just can't help but love her. How was that, John?
Well, that was pretty exciting. I didn't really give it a cheer till we gone past the place, to be honest, Shadow, because I'd given our ball out at about 1,000. So, look, I've had to sit down and watch the tape to sort of really appreciate how good a performance it was.
Yeah.
That's something to behold. It would be Glenn Boss sitting here thinking, I have slaughtered this, and then, bang, there's a gap. Let's take that one. Let's see if another one opens up for me, and it does. You can see another one inside the horse in the pink there, which I can't remember who it was, but he once he dived in there, and the track was playing reasonably fairly across the profile that day.
Hey, John, I've had the pleasure of meeting quite the number of as he would. I mean, I stood with him when Private Steer won the Stradbroke up in Brisbane. I tell you what, I lost the shirt, everything. Hey, John.
AJC Australian Oaks coming up. Big race today at Group 1. Timberina and Boulevard of Dreams and French Lady. All 100 raters, and then Demerger. So 2, 6, 9 and 3. 320 about Timberina. Demerger at 13 of the favourite is the informed filly Wild Iris for Guy Walter and Larry Cassidy. 250, 880 for Generosa. Boulevard of Dreams at $19. The Oaks coming up is the favourite for the AJC Australian Oaks. It's into 240.
Timberina, he's going to take a gamble. He's going to go on the inside. He's shot through along the rails and he goes up to join Demerger. Generosa's gone. Looking's up to fourth. Salute 50 outside. French Lady touched by God. And Wild Iris is pulled to the extreme outside. Over the rise, Demerger's in front of Timberina. But look at Wild Iris right down the outside. She's eating up the ground. Wild Iris claimed the leaders in one bound. French Lady's going to second, then Demerger and Timberina. But this is an outstanding filly. She's bunting home with the Oaks. Wild Iris to the wire to win by 4 lengths. French Lady second.
Another successful Warwick Farm trainer, Guy Walter, with his, of course, Guy Walter training Republic Lass to win it in 2002. Number 9 is second, and that is French Lady by Entrepreneur, trained by Michael Moroney, written by Greg Childs. Start of Demerger, and here's Wild Iris. She's sprinting like a gazelle down to the 250, and Wild Iris, the most improved filly in Australia. She raced about 2.5 lengths on French Lady, and then Demerger, Timberina, but Wild Iris, this is a fairy tale story. Wild Iris blows them away in the Oaks and has won it about 4 lengths nearly to French Lady, and then Boulevard of Dreams.
Yep, it's by Spectrum out of Wild Violet, and the further they go, I think the further they'll like it.
I think it's a talented filly in what was a pretty poor Oaks.
Yeah, still. You couldn't have won more impressive.
Great acceleration. Great acceleration.
Great acceleration. Very true. Let's have a look.
Here's La Cyreneuse, the 100 rater, in front of Innerbound, Eingale and Heck of a Party. Very good race this for the fillies and mares. The Emancipation, named after one of the great fillies and mares of the Australian turf. Ronnie Quinton won many a big race on Emancipation. She was great. Zana, 6th. Okay, Sky Channel does not have the legal rights to show you the Randwick races, but we have the call of the Emancipation.
Out to the centre of the track as they straighten up, and Heck of a Party's got a heck of a lead. It's about 3 lengths on Inner Bound, 2 lengths to Zanna, then Iron Gale, and 4 or 5 is Mrs. Tendulkar and Lucera News, but it's Heck of a Party inside the 200 mark at 2.5 Inner Bound, who's making no headway on a stablemate. Zanna on the inside, then Iron Gale, but Heck of a Party is a mile too good for these, and down to the post goes Heck of a Party to win easily from Zanna, Inner Bound and Iron Gale. Mrs. Tendulkar followed by Lucera News, Tenacious Spirit, St Jessie and Tiffin together at the rear. The dogs, let us continue. The Quinella paid $15, the exact at $24.10, the exact at $24.10.
About to move up for the Stall Florist Pace. Jerry Hat-Trick at 140.
Of the 2004 Group 1 Galaxy.
4 to move in. Only 3 to move up now for the Galaxy. Only 3 on the market here on track and on total.
The Bart Cummings trained Tycoon was sent out favourite.
Racing. Star of Florida began only fairly near the inside. Spark of Life and Tycoon going quickly with Murphy's Blue Boy. Now Star of Florida, he's accelerating up along the inside. Majestic Fiesta and Sharp just behind them. Murphy's Blue Boy dropping back. Blessum in the centre, then Pemberton Dance the Waves. Lucky Night Sports Brat and Bradshaw's last of all. The Flying Star of Florida is the leader as they come up towards the home turn. 600 metres to go. He's in full flight. Star of Florida leading by a length. In second position is Spark of Light, followed by Majestic Fiesta going to third. Tycoon is parked in fourth position, followed by Murphy's Blue Boy and then Sharp Pemberton. Sports Brat is next, Lucky Night to the outside. They're in the straight now over the rise. Star of Florida held together by Payne, leading by a length. Coming at him, Spark of Light on the outside. Majestic Fiesta is next. Tycoon is on the outside, coming up to the leaders. Spark of Light linked up to go to the lead. Here comes Tycoon, he's coming out to Spark of Light. Spark of Light is still the leader. He's hanging on. Tycoon can't get to him. Spark of Light first. Spark of Light beat Tycoon. Third, maybe Blessum just in front of Bradshaw.
The win for Spark of Life in front of a crowd of 15,000 plus was her 5th from just 7 starts. And
that was old Bradshaw. So it's 6, 7, 4 and 2, a length and a half.
It bounces out very quickly. There's Tycoon on the outside in Bart's Cummings, and Star of Florida scooting along the inside is about to take up a forward position and join Spark of Life. Tycoon gets to sit in behind those. What did you think of Spark of Life over Star of Florida over the closing stages?
Yeah, Star of Florida was found out here. Look, the thing that surprised me in this race, this looked to be a really, really fast race on paper. Now, these horses got a rest for the first third of the race and left the back markers no hope. But this is a very, very good little sprinter, this Spark of Life. He's, like, I thought Tycoon had him cold here, but, by gee, he hit the line well. He's a good sprinter.
He loves that soft going underfoot as well. It doesn't seem to stop him on the firm either, but he loves it soft underfoot, and he just, when the pedal went to the metal, he found that couple of lengths, and Tycoon was picking him up, and he's a good sprinter as well, and I think they'll fight out plenty of good sprint races, but very, very impressive Spark of Life.
What about Murphy's Blue Boy?
Yeah, look, that was a big second up after such a long spell. I think we'll assess him after his next run when he comes back a little in grade.
Blessum was running, that was good too.
Yeah, ran on very strongly.
Okay. What was the crowd eventually yesterday?
I think just on the 30,000, which was a little bit below expectations, but...
Sydney and Randwick, the third race is the Champagne Stakes for 2-year-olds. Darts Hero's the top rater. Wager, Saberbeal and Kid George, 1, 4, 3 and 2. It's been a long time since we had a galloper this short to complete the Triple Crown.
It's been a great race, the Champagne, over the years. Some very, very handy horses have won it. As I mentioned, a Hasnet last year, the Victory Vane the year before, Viscount in 2001, Assertive Lad, Dracula, Encounter, Intergaze.
Crown.
Third leg of the Triple Crown.
The third leg of the Triple Crown for 2-year-olds with a chance for Dance Hero to add his name to the exclusive honour roll. He was showing good form, having broken records in the Slipper, Champagne Stakes and the Magic Millions.
Racing. Oh, they hit the ground as one. Dance Hero, 3 deep, just in front. Wager is going to settle second. Kid George is a length away third. And Savabeel, he comes. King George. Dance Hero's in front as they straighten up. He's drifted about 3 off the fence. Wager's coming out for him on the outside. Now the acid test is there for the top 2-year-old Dance Hero. And he is responding. He's giving him a little push now, Dance Hero. He's a length in front of Wager. Savabeel and Kid George. Dance Hero's in front with 250 metres to go. He's the champion 2-year-old of Australia. He completes the Grand Slam. There he goes to the line. A great Triple Crown winner. Dance Hero first. Second.
Dance Hero backing up for 3 successive Saturdays in a row, adding his name to the 100 metres. Dance Hero covering the 1600 metres in a race record time of 1:34.75. Stable manager Steve Brand was impressed with the result.
Yeah, he's a fantastic horse. He's danced every dance as a 2-year-old and done something that no other 2-year-old at this level's done before. We're very proud of him.
The first 4 there, 1, 4, 3 and 2, has paid a bit less than the trifecta. It paid $7.80. That's a great effort.
Hero down to the distance at the 200. He's a length and a half on Wager, battling on but not matching the more fancied stablemate than Savabeel. But it's Dance Hero in no danger and is going to make a clean sweep of the 2-year-old Triple Crown, and in doing so tops the $3 million in prize money. Well done, Dance Hero, to beat Wager.
Yeah, and well done, Gay Waterhouse too. At $1.40, Dance Hero. Chris Muntz aboard. Wager second. The stablemate Savabeel third. As I said, only the 4 runners, but people aren't to know that at acceptance time, you know, if you...
No, look, geez.
You've got to have another runner.
I was surprised that they went so quick in this race. Would you believe they broke the race record?
Yeah.
4 runners.
See, I don't. I think they should get the wheel out again. There was no... I couldn't see how 4 runners could break the race record on that track.
Yeah, considering like this race has been run since 1960, and this is the fastest ever run Champagne Stakes. I can't believe
This is just 2 A-graders being chased by 2 B-graders. That's 2-year-olds. These horses behind might make into good 3-year-olds, but at this stage, these are 2 A-graders in front, Dance Hero and Wager, and you know, Savabeel and Kid George are B-graders chasing them. So I thought he was good value at the $1.40.
No, he is
really
now.
did.
He is now.
No, I thought before the race he's good value at $1.40.
Well,
So did you take it?
No, but I don't bet odds on.
No? Right.
Well, he's the 5th horse to win the Triple Crown. You've had Baguette, Luskin Star, Terse and Burst. I don't know whether we're going to see too many more winning the Triple Crown unless we bring this race back in distance.
What a mighty season he's had as a 2-year-old. He is a great 2-year-old. He's won the Golden Slipper, I think, in race record time.
Yeah.
He's then come out and won he won the Magic Millions in race record time. He's won the Sires and backed it up with a race record victory in the Champagne.
It's got to be some sort of world record for a 2-year-old winning so many Group 1 so quick.
Freaky 2-year-old.
The
14 minutes, the Frank Packer Plate, where Strafed is all the rage, ahead of Speedy King, Running Rich and Oxano. The ratings are 2, 1, 7 and 3. And Strafed has come up at $1.30. And a couple of 7-to-1 hopes are Red Terror and Point of Honour. Yeah, the 5th event. This has been won by some good horses over the years. It's been a good launching pad. Clang-a-Lang, as a 3-year-old, won the Frank Packer Plate. He also won the Derby, of course, as a 3-year-old. Then came back in the spring to pick up an Epsom.
Here, folks. Back in Ronnie Dufficy's colours in the green and black checks on the outside, about to come down the outside. Strafed in the All Cerisa, odds-on favourite.
Tornado alert. Strafed is taking an hour. Running Rich joining in, and so too's Point of Honour. And here's Red Terror. Red Terror starting to fly down the outside. Red Terror got to Running Rich, and Point of Honour headed them off. Then Strafed, who can't win it, but it's Red Terror the leader, and Red Terror's coming away on the drive to the line. Red Terror from Point of Honour or Running Rich, and then Strafed, followed by Oxano, Speedy Kingdom.
Well, he put the writing on the wall, Red Terror, when it ran second to Latouche-Lautrec. So that franks the form of that now, doesn't it? And that was a very good, promising staying performance. She must have been tickle pink with that. And a great performance by, of course, Guy Walter and Danny Beasley.
Yeah, great training effort, great riding performance. But this horse is a real improver. Look, he's showing a lot of staying promise. We've stretched him out a distance now, and he's reacting. I think he's got a very good future for still an immature horse, only on his 2nd preparation.
And the pace was on?
Pace suited him. Pace suited him. He switched off nicely.
Yeah, he's a great stayer in the making here, Ronnie. The $130,000 prize money that you got for winning that race, plus trophies, that pales into insignificance as against the 7-figure offers that you've had made to you by at least 2 parties.
Who said that?
Yeah, who said that?
It was all the talk of the racecourse last night.
More of your rumours?
No, how much you've been offered for this horse to go to Hong Kong. Care to comment?
No,
Care to comment? Care to deny it?
Just give him my number, will you? Everything's on the market.
Do you care to deny it?
Why don't you beat it up a bit more?
Beating it up, that's what was said. And I tell you what, if you're looking for a Hong Kong Derby horse, that would be the horse you'd be looking to buy.
Right, okay. Take note.
Are you suggesting it's going to beat Grand Zulu when it goes up there?
It'll be a good race.
Right, he's just for Hawthorn against the Western Bulldogs. A punter has bet $5 million to win $1 million on Lonhro when the champion ends his career in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes tomorrow. Darwin-based bookie Michael Sullivan says it's the same gambler who bet $3 million in Lonhro's previous 2 races.
In a blur of cerise and black, Lonhro's farewell tour will end and it's off to stud, remembered as one of the greatest ever.
He's actually the best horse I've ridden. He's just got superior qualities. He's got great acceleration, great temperament. You can position him anywhere in a race and his record speaks for itself. It's outstanding.
He's been the most fantastic horse. You dream about a horse like him.
Lonhro's father, Octagonal, called it quits after the same race, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, 7 years ago.
Intergaze has spoiled the party.
Well, that was no fairy tale. The Black Flash starts his last dash, favourite for the 31st time in 35 starts.
Win, lose or draw, I don't think anything's going to change, but naturally you like to go out and win it.
A 12th Group 1 victory would push Lonhro's stakes over $6 million, but earnings won't stop there. At stud, the handsome stallion will set you back $66,000 a service.
If they've only got a glimpse of his looks, they'll be stunners.
Just to have a sort of dad, then have the son. Now hopefully we'll look for the grandson.
To the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, the full call coming up. It's due in just over half an hour. Lonhro and Grand Army are equal top raters. Then Pentastic and Sound Action, 1, 2, 3 and 5. He did run a terrific race in the Doncaster Grand Army, but he's taking on Lonhro today, who beat him home in the George Ryder. Lonhro.
He won the race 12 months ago. He defeated Pentastic, another rival today, and Republic Lass.
The crowd had come to see. All eyes, along with one game punter's $5 million, were on the mighty Lonhro's last race.
Nicely off the inside. Ain't seen nothing yet. Going forward on the outside. Grand Army looks as though he wants to lead on him. Beatman got the champ away okay. He's in 4th place, about 4 lengths off the leader as they go through the first 200. He's had a very easy time. He's getting away with a soft lead. And as they head down past the 1,000, Grand Army just increasing the tempo a little bit now, moved away 4 lengths in front. In second position is Pentastic. But if I ain't seen nothing, Sound Action. He hasn't made a move on Lonhro as yet. And last of all is Cablello. Grand Army is 5 lengths in front now. Darren is starting to go forward. He's giving the champ a little push. He's out of our 8 horses wide coming to the home turn, but he's still 6 off the leader. Grand Army on the home turn now in the Queen Elizabeth. Grand Army straightens up. He's 10 wide. He's 4 lengths in front. Lonhro's coming to the extreme outside. He's chasing Grand Army now. Cablello's over on the rails. Then Sound Action. Grand Army topping the rise. 3 in front of Lonhro. Lonhro's stretching. He's straining on the outside, but Grand Army is well clear of him. I don't think Lonhro can do it. Grand Army, he got away with an easy lead, and it was too much for Lonhro. Grand Army goes to the wire, wins by 4 lengths.
In a controversial finish, much to the crowd's disappointment, the great Lonhro was beaten in his last race outing.
Hickman was blamed for Lonhro's shock defeat.
Disappointing finish, not a very good ride.
But it wasn't all doom and gloom. Bookie Michael Sullivan took a $5 million bet on Lonhro, his defeat delivering a dream payday.
He owes us about $12 million. We've just got $5 million back. That's the best we can do.
Chris Hodgkins
officially 4th.
$70. But Lonhro joins a long list of horses who finished their career in defeat. Sunline, of course, was beaten at her last start. Might and Power, Octagonal in that very race. He was beaten by Intergaze, as we were talking about before the race. And now his famous son Lonhro had...
Lamo's on the inside. Up the rise they travel now. And Grand Army by 3 lengths on Lonhro. Beatman has to get desperate on the champ. Grand Army still 3 in front of Lonhro. He can't do it. It's Grand Army in front. Lonro can't get near him, and Grand Army spoils the Lonro party. Grand Army all the way from Lonro, and then Fantastic, followed by Kablamo.
Let me preface my comments by saying Darren Beedman, I think he's one of the most outstanding jockeys I've seen in my lifetime. I call him a friend. I've known him since he was a boy. Very rarely rides a bad race. But yesterday, it was possibly saving the worst till last. I think it was a dreadful ride on Lonro. I thought he made a critical error in the first 200 metres and then compounded it during the race and just left the horse far too much to do. Every jockey will ride a bad race. He just picked an extraordinarily bad time to do it. And on the other hand, Glenn Boss, I thought he made other jockeys look silly all weekend. Cutting the corner, while other jockeys scouted wide, covering ground round.
Well, we'll talk more on Lonro in a moment. Grand Army, a training triumph for Gay Waterhouse. Dan Beasley, a masterful rider, as I said, by him, and we just may underestimate Dan a bit.
I think we should go back to the start and have a look as the gates open, because this is where I think the mistake was made. There's no pacemaker in this race. Danny Beasley, who would have been the likely pacemaker, I think, or would have, he's gone straight forward. Darren could have jumped straight on his back and gone forward with him. He could have gone outside, ain't seen nothing in the yellow colours there, but he just keeps drifting and drifting. Now he's 3 deep and with one horse behind him, and pretty soon he'll be in last place out wide. And I just think that right there is where the race was lost.
Yeah, definitely. Look, even now, make a move. Just concede that they're going that slow. You've got to get around. Look, why follow Ain't Seen Nothing? She just grinds away. Look, this, like I said, this is just a jog trot up front. And
he's going even time, the horse in front. Look at his ears print.
And gaining and getting further in front, further and further in front. Look, he's a top-class horse, Grand Army. You can't give starts like this.
Well, even in a truly run race, it took Lonro all his time to beat him at Rosehill, and yet he's going to give him 6 lengths start here after letting him go even time down the back straight.
Well, so you know they're going to quicken. You know they're going to quicken, so when they do quicken, you're going to be left in the ruck.
Well, it's about here they start to quicken, isn't it?
Well, when this horse pricked his ears on this top corner, right. Is he prick his ears? Yeah. That's him saying, are we for real? Is this a race?
Alfie?
Look, like most other runners, apart from perhaps Fantastic to a lesser degree. And look, guys, you're right. That's where the damage was done. And when this horse can race evenly throughout, you've got to have an awfully good horse to pick up in excess of 6 lengths. And we know what a second is in terms of distance. It's around about 6.2 lengths, and Darren was more than that away. He had to run a phenomenal time to pick up. Bear in mind, under pressure, chasing.
Can I ask you something, Ron? We talked about this off camera a couple of weeks back. We all knew that he was being set for the Australian Cup, correct?
Exactly right.
And then he had to be freshened up back to the 1500-metre race for the George Ryder Stakes. And I remember you saying to me at the time, said, this is a big ask here, and then had to go back to 2000 for yesterday's race. Was it a big ask?
Well, it is always a big ask. I don't care how good the horse is. To peak a horse a few times in one preparation is awfully hard. Now, John Hawkes always said, the Australian Cup is the main mission. He won the Australian Cup, he peaked on the right day, he freshened up, he looked good in the rider, blowing Grand Army away. Then having to go back to 2,000 metres at the end of a preparation where Grand Army had just absolutely peaked coming Doncaster today and was on a quick backup. Look, that's the point. Maybe he just had come to the end of it, Lonro, after peaking up once in a preparation already.
He never got a chance to test whether
he didn't get a chance to, you know? But no. Who says that he would have beat him anyway?
Well, that's true. He may have got up next to him and not been able to outrun Grand Army, who's a very, very good horse.
Was he sweating up yesterday?
Look, the horse...
To some of his most memorable performances, and we're going to talk about where he fits in the category of champion. You had a very good article in the Sunday Telly this morning, Richard. Where did you put him?
I rank him these are all arbitrary, but I rank him the 6th best horse I've seen in my lifetime, which spans in racing about 30 years. This horse is an exceptional stallion, regardless of yesterday's result. Yeah. For stallions to do what he's done, because there's any number of commercial and physical reasons why stallions don't have the longevity this horse did. And an incredible turn of speed, could win a great sprint race, could stretch out to 2,000 metres and be, extraordinarily hard to beat at the highest level. I rate him one of the greats of the last 30 years, and I don't think yesterday detracts from that.
26 wins out of 35 starts. How many Group 1s was it?
I think 11, I think.
11, yeah.
This was a win.
Oh, it wasn't.
This wasn't his greatest ride either, Darren. Two of his last 3 rides on this horse haven't been his best, but yesterday's was in a class of its own. But
this was Gouchy.
This is Gouchy.
This is the Gouch, yes. This is in the Rosehill Guineas when he was a 3-year-old. Yeah, I thought we were looking at the Australian Cup.
That's an explosive performance.
Yeah, that was memorable, that wasn't it? We all knew then that this was something special.
Here's the Australian Cup.
Coming for Lonro. Sound Action tries to pocket him. Bateman in a bit of trouble trying to force through. He got checked, the champ, and Sound Action hitting the front now from Mummified Lonro. The champion's in desperate trouble. Del Zayo's gone past him. 150 to go. He's got to the outside. Del Zayo in front. The crowd roaring. Go, Lonro, go. But the 3-year-old's in front. Del Zayo. Lonro, he's coming. He's going to get there. Yes, Lonro won it. What a champion. What a way to go.
I'll remember him for that one.
Yeah, I think everyone will.
Yeah.
In fact, I was down in Melbourne yesterday, and they said, well, at least he went out in a farewell and a blaze of glory in a race that we'll all remember down here in Melbourne, and rightfully so.
I'll remember him for the last rider, because he beat Private Steer, he beat Grand Army. They'd been the 2 dominant horses the last week, and that was the real Lonro.
Good point.
He toyed with them.
Yeah, excellent point.
To the Sydney Cup. Race 7, Stadium, Mackay Diva, Mummify and Grey Song, 6, 2, 1 and 4. And here's the market. Mackay Diva, the Melbourne Cup winner. It's been a long time since we had a Melbourne Cup, Sydney Cup winner. Mackay Diva's at 320, County Tyrone at 380, and the other hopes are Mummify, Grey Song and Stadium. That's in the same season, of course, the same racing season.
Yep, Manoa King is there, and we're set for a start in the Schweppes Sydney Cup for 2004.
The outside of County Tyrone.
Then Mackay Diva, Grey Song has 2 behind him, Manoa King and Courting. 550 metres to gallop in the Sydney Cup, and it's Pantani. A half length on Special Scene, a length the far was Stadium. County Tyrone going up on the inside. Grey Song's gone to the outside with Mummify as they straighten up. Mackay Diva is sitting now about 4th. It's County Tyrone in front as they top the rise, but now Mummify charges at it. Mackay Diva up on the inside, and then Manoa King and Grey Song. Mackay Diva to the inside. Mummify grab County Tyrone. Mackay Diva hits the front clearly. On the outside, the roughy Manoa King. Mackay Diva, however, holds Manoa King. Another big one for Bossy. Mackay Diva wins the Sydney Cup from Manoa King. 3rd posse to Mummify.
She's only won 2 races this racing season, a Melbourne Cup and a Sydney Cup. They had a peaking for the both of the 2-milers, Mackay Diva. And Ian is right, Galilee is the last horse to win the Melbourne Cup, Sydney Cup double in the same season. And
Go, Bossy, go. Wonderful training performance by David Hall, who only decided to put Mackay Diva in the Cup on Tuesday. Joins an elite band of stays that have won the Melbourne Cup, Sydney Cup in the one season, including Galilee, Straight Draw, and way back in 1904, Lord Cardigan. So there you go, Mackay Diva.
I don't think 55.5 kilos is a big weight for a Melbourne Cup winner to carry in a Sydney Cup, so no wonder David was keen to run her. This is another Glenn Boss super ride. He just cut the corner when all these jockeys seem obsessed with moving away from the inside rail with 800 metres to run. And it's just burning ground. But here's... but yeah, here we go with Mummify. Well, he's just over-raced throughout the race. And Glenn Boss has snuck through on the inside and now moved out into the better part of the track. That's just too clever. Damien Oliver did the same thing.
What about this other Victorian here, Manoa King?
I'll tell you what, that is a really nice horse, this Manoa King. I don't think he's raced past 2,400 metres. Look, I feel Jim Conlon might put him away and put him on a Melbourne Cup. Look, that'll qualify him for the Melbourne Cup. He looks a very, very promising stayer to me. The horse that relaxed the best, won the race, the best stayer, Mackay Diva. Very, very good mare she is. Mummify just over-raced and didn't relax. That went against him.
No, it's all-age stakes, and it's now being run over 1,400 metres. Private Steer heads the ratings ahead of Yell and our Egyptian Rain, and Defier 517 and 2. Yell at 610, Defier for Hugh Bowman, who picked up the ride during the week at 680. Private Steer, the favourite, at 210, and our Egyptian Rain is $13. And it's about the market, $10 to Hasner, number 12.
Righto, this is one of the big races of the day, another Group 1. It's the Daily Telegraph All-Age Stakes. The Group 1 Daily Telegraph All-Age Stakes over the 1,400 metres, and it's worth All-Age Stakes over the 1,400 metres, and it's worth $400,000. And boy, they haven't forgotten to back this great mare Private Steer in the ring. She's back.
Speaking of patience, have a look at this. How good is Private Steer? Let's have a look at yesterday's all-age stakes, and you'll see Private Steer eventually drift back to the tail of the field, and heavens knows what trainer John O'Shea was saying to himself as they commenced the run around the home corner.
Looking for the lead, Yell on the outside and not far away as they sort themselves out to fire. He's in a much more forward spot, although he's prodded out pretty wide, followed then by Brave Flyer, then Fair Embrace, Victory Vein, and Private Steer is last to the course proper. And the leader is clearly now our Egyptian Rain. Yell sitting second, Ancient Song third, Hasna the outside, Mystigic is next to fire, caught out on a limb, and then Brave Flyer. A length further back is Fair Embrace wide. In the middle, Victory Vein, and Private Steer brings up the rear. In the all age, they work their way to the 600 marker, and our Egyptian Rain is the leader, 3/4 to a length. Yell, 2 to Hasna, followed by Ancient Song. A length and a half further back in the run to fire, followed by Mystigic, and then Brave Flyer over on the rails. Fair Embrace, Private Steer's close enough to the inner, and Victory Vein is last. Around the corner they travel. Private Steer's gone up into about 5th posse. Our Egyptian Rain joined by Yell. On the outside, Hasna, and then Ancient Song, and Private Steer is still grinding away, and now Defire's coming down the outer. Private Steer is out after the leader, our Egyptian Rain. Our Egyptian Rain, Private Steer closing the gap. Our Egyptian Rain still in front, but Private Steer, oh, what a wonderful mare. She's done it again. Private Steer nosed out our Egyptian Rain with the Fire third and Yell fourth. Here's until stewards can ascertain whether she had every opportunity to jump. Well, what a marvellous mare. Number 5, the winner, Private Steer, Glen Boss. She paid $2.10, $1.30. Outstanding win, coming back 200 in distance from the Doncaster. She hasn't that form worked out with Grand Army. Number 7.
Adding further merit to that Private Steer, she was coming back in distance from the Doncaster 1,600 metres. John O'Shea, the trainer, Glen Boss, there he was again. John O'Shea is online. Hello, Jono.
Morning, Shadow. How are you?
Well, I'm fantastic. How were you as they approached the home turn yesterday?
I was pretty confident in the run. I just wanted to see if she was going to let down. You know, if she lets down, she wasn't that far from. She always handles the Randwick track well, and you know, she was always going to make it a run of it. Once it gets into a dog fight, she's the right horse to be on in a dog fight, you know, so we're pretty confident in the run.
John, Richard Friedman here. Congratulations. A fabulous week with this mare. You had to say yesterday, Glen Boss's ride, how much ground do you think he saved by cutting the corner inside the rest of the field?
Yeah, look, he did the right thing, because, again, you know, we knew that she'd handle the surface, but if she'd have drawn outside, Richard, I don't think it'd have mattered. She'd have been able to track the Fire into the race, and, you know, I think it might have been the same result.
John, has she surprised you in these last 2 runs? They're just been unbelievable performances, both wins.
Ronnie, I've always had a good opinion of her, you know. It's probably everyone else that sort of doubted her more than me. You know, I felt she would have been competitive in the Cox Plate last year, and again, I was sort of, you know, I was disappointed that things didn't go away, because most importantly, she'll handle that Strathia surface, and she showed in the Doncaster on Saturday when you ride a little bit quiet, she'll run sort of strong moderately. At Randwick or...
The beaten brigade there, you were pointing out off camera about Defire.
Yeah, I thought Defire's was a great run. He tracked 3 and 4 deep, probably, you know, 8 and 10 away from the fence, and he got hard up against the outside rail, where the crowd were basically hanging over the outside rail, and really it wasn't the ideal spot to be galloping, and yet he still finished off very well. I think he's heading for a very good Queensland Carnival, Defire.
I agree.
Our Egyptian Rain gave plenty of cheek.
Look, that was our Egyptian Rain's first try at the distance, and I think she went terrific, and she's another one to consider in Brisbane. Now that she's been stretched out over that distance, she looks well.
Well, I consider John's mare an outstanding mare, and I'm not trying to take anything away from her, because I do believe she's the best mare in the country, and I think she's proved it. But if Nashra Willer had cut the corner like Glen Boss did on our Egyptian Rain, by geez, it would have been interesting who'd have won there.
Oh, you're a narc. He rode it beautifully. He settled her in front and just dictated terms to suit himself.
You don't need to be heading to the middle of the track at the 6 and 700.
Yeah, well, you can look at the replays properly.
Well, of course, Richard is one of our seasoned jockeys, as you know.
Yeah, well, I've watched plenty of racing.